picture, but I maybe tweet out like an Aaron Rodgers picture or a Russell Wilson picture next to it. I was like, well, we got the thumbs up. We might as well have some fun with it. We start to go live. Here's a little Harrison Barnes joint that we'll throw up.
Hey,
right there. You know.
Hey,
check. Hey, there's man. How we go live? And normally Ramsey's already in here with a note.
no,
Man,
Ramsey, where you at, man?
We got to send Big Al to find Ramsey.
Big Al, you have one mission: bring back Ramsey.
Go to your wood store and be that. What was that movie The Rock did where he just carried a 2x4 around? Not walking. Yeah, that was what it called. Walking tall. Yeah. Ramsey's the guy with the 2x4 going around to check people.
Oh, some of these movie plots, boy, I tell you.
Wild stuff. All right, so far so good on the stream. I'm just taking a quick glance over here.
You're straight right now. You're crystal clear.
We looking good.
Warren, Matthew, what's good?
What'd you say, Jesse?
Minute till showtime.
Oh, minute till showtime. Okay. Minute till showtime.
Man,
check in.
I got a red cup, but this is nothing but lemonade. Pure lemonade. Nothing too crazy. I know it's Friday, but I'm a professional.
What's up, Warren? What it do? Hey, there's Ramsey. Ramsey, you're late, man. We was worried about you a little bit.
Man. Come on, Matt, now.
What's good, baby? Rich. Talk to me. Hey, you know what it is. Yeah, okay. Like, all right. Like, okay.
Max MC, he was on you hard yesterday.
He was killing me. And then when the show ended, he went to Twitter to kill me some more.
Oh gosh. Yeah. Wait a minute. Who did Max make the nation meme?
No, that was Jason. Jason made the nation
I laughed
meme.
really, really hard at that.
That was a good one. That was a good one. We got a good show, y'all, man. Let's go. Will Z, what's good?
Sometimes you really just vibing out. I'm the streets voice out west, legendary self-made progress. Nice time that I check.
Hey, we in here, baby, on a Friday, on a game day. What is all the way good? I'm Damien Barling. He's Kenny Caraway. We are thrilled to be with you. First of two shows today, as we mentioned. Yes. Kings are back in action. It's a game day, courtside tonight, coming up at 6 o'clock. We'll talk plenty of Kings here from now until 2. As a matter of fact, we'll talk with a Sacramento King. Had a great conversation with Harrison Barnes yesterday for our Build Black podcast on the Be Heard podcast platform. And we got the thumbs up from everybody involved, and we're going to air a little portion of that conversation coming up at 12:30. He's got a tremendous program. Maybe you saw him. Hopefully you did on The Jump yesterday, or hopefully you saw it on social media. But he's got a tremendous program where they're sponsoring. Actually, they're calling it drafting. They're drafting young people and building out savings accounts for them, putting $40 in it and showing them how that $40 grows over time and how to invest and all of that stuff. So Harrison is a good dude, man, and I was very pleased to see that Bleacher Report link pop up that said Harrison Barnes, Center of Trade Discussion, Kings aren't interested in moving him.
He ain't going nowhere. Like I said, Damien, I know people think we crazy. I'm getting his next contract ready. I'm just telling you right now, I'm getting his next contract ready. Harrison need to be here for the next 5-6 years.
It's real talk, man. That's real talk. And when you hear from him at 12:30, you'll know why, if you don't already know, why Casey and I are such massive fans of Harrison Barnes. So again, that's coming up at 12:30. Marshall Harris here for his weekly visit. Coming up,
bro.
Yes, sir. No, don't do that. Don't do that.
No,
don't do that. Don't get me in trouble.
Jesse, put that on a shirt. Little bro, yes, sir. Put that on a shirt.
I was reminded as you said that, like, oh man, I didn't send Marshall his invitation link. Like, I got to send him that. And that's what I was focused on as you threw the little bro out, and it got away from me, and now it's on tape.
You're too busy listening to that new Nip and Hove.
Yeah, listen to it. Woo, tonight's the night.
They did not disappoint with that Nip and Hove. Woo.
Judas and the Black Messiah is on HBO Max tonight, baby. Let's go.
Can't wait. I'll be watching tomorrow. So I'm going to pass out tonight.
Well, we've got Kings basketball to watch tonight, man. So we'll get to the movie tomorrow, and you can watch us like a movie. You can put us on your big screen where it is that the stream is looking pretty nice today. I reset everything multiple times. I was even looking at this device. They have this thing it's like a mesh network where it's like $600. I was like, do I need to buy this? Do I need to go waste $600 to get my damn stream to work properly?
4K D-Lo in the house.
But I did have some fun going through the video yesterday and watching some of the comments pop up on the screen. That was fun, man. You can watch the show. Twitch.tv/ESPN1320. We hope that you'll follow us over there. We hope that you'll share the video, like the video, do all of that stuff. Same thing on YouTube. Search the ESPN 1320 channel on YouTube. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the thumbs up button. That's super important for us. And, of course, follow us at ESPN 1320 on Twitter. Kings played the Orlando Magic not that long ago.
Yeah.
January 27th to be exact. The Kings won that game. It was part of the little win streak that they had going on after. Actually, it was the first game of the road trip, if I remember correctly. It was the first game after the Memphis games were
That was the first game after they had the 4 days.
Yeah, right. And they stepped out there. It was I think there's a number of things to watch for tonight's game based off of what we saw in that game. One, Buddy Hield's best game of the season. 29 points. He didn't rely on the three. He was penetrating to the basket. He was doing all of that. And Steve Clifford spent 48 minutes daring Tyrese Halliburton to shoot.
Yeah.
And he didn't. I mean, he really wasn't aggressive with his shot in that game, and it was one of those stretches where he was regularly shooting like 3 of 7, 3 of 8. He just couldn't break past the number of made field goals past 3. He's broken past it since then. So, 2 things that I'm watching tonight, KC: how aggressive is Buddy Hield against the Orlando Magic, and how do the Orlando Magic defend Tyrese Halliburton now?
Those are 2 big things to watch, because getting Buddy on track, like I mentioned the other day, is maybe the key to unlocking this team's potential. When he scores, and I'm not saying he has to go for 40, I'm not even saying he has to go for 29 again, but when he is a consistent scorer and he's not struggling from the field, this team is different. This team is even more explosive than they already are. And then when you got Tyrese Halliburton, when he's able to score, when he's able to be aggressive on the offensive end, that unlocks another part of this team. And they need it all to be where they can be, because this right now isn't that deep of a team. So the guys that you do have playing, the guys that are constantly in your rotation and that you rely on, they've got to be aggressive. They got to feel good about it, and they've got to put the ball in the basket. So I need to see. I'd love to see both of them, but I'll work with the basketball gods. Give me one of these guys step up and play the way that we expect them to play, and I think good things will happen.
Is that one of the biggest concerns about this team right now? And I know we're excited about the way that they're playing and kind of the way the whole Western Conference looks. And I don't want to, diminish that excitement at all. There's really no reason to. But is depth your biggest concern moving forward for this group?
Yeah, they need another. I think they need another guard. I think they need another guy on the wing, and they got to find somewhere to get that guy, whether he's in your system, on your roster. G League, Woodard's out there playing really well. I don't know what the call-up situation is, but he's playing great. Or if you find somebody in the trade. So, but they have to bolster that bench by at least one more person. Some people think 2, but at least one person, and preferably a guy on the wing or a backup point guard.
You mentioned Terrence Ross a couple of days ago. I think that was is that guy still high on your list?
Absolutely. I'm terrified of Terrence tonight, and I would love for him to be a Sacramento King. I mean, I would be overjoyed if he was a Sacramento King.
Yeah, it'll be Terrence. He might be the only person playing. I mean, they've got the Orlando Magic. They've got a long list of guys that are out here. Markelle Fultz is out. Everybody knows that. I'm just looking at this tweet from Deuce Mason a little bit ago. Aaron Gordon is out. Jonathan Isaac is out. Michael Carter-Williams is out. Frank Mason, the Frank Mason revenge game.
I'm about to say he was supposed to come back and do work tonight.
Frank Mason is out. Al-Farouq Aminu is questionable. Cole Anthony is questionable. Evan Fournier is questionable.
Evan Fournier, he always gives the Kings problems.
Yeah,
I'd like to see him be out.
But let's not. Doesn't matter. Don't care.
Absolutely
Don't
doesn't
care.
matter.
Like
You got to do what you got to do. One thing
got an
from
NBA
that
roster still out there.
And Vucevic, did I get that right, Jesse? Vucevic is still there, and that boy's a bad man. That boy is a bad man. He can play.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you got that, and the who's the other guy that gave them fits on the boards last night? I'm looking for his name. The big guy. Oh, I'm drawing a blank, and I don't even see it right here.
You paint pictures with words, my brother. I don't know. I don't know what big guy in the NBA you're talking about.
He's a Birch. That's who it was. Birch destroyed the Kings on the boards last game. Absolutely destroyed them on the offensive boards. You got to watch out for that. Now, ironically, the Kings in that last game, they were killed on the offensive boards, but they actually did a great job themselves on the offensive boards. I think Marvin had 9 offensive boards himself in that game. He was a beast. Marvin had a big game that game and only played like 3.5 quarters. This one, because the game was a little bit out of hand, according to my man Jason Jones, saying, he's got the bad wrist, why throw him back out there? But Marvin was on his way to a big game in that matchup against the Magic the first time.
Yeah, this was the start of. I mean, that's not true. I guess the New York Knicks game was really the start. But they were able to continue that defensive effort against the Orlando Magic when they played. And so, again, there's a lot of interesting things to watch here in this game. And you and I are both very big on the importance of this weekend.
Yes.
With Orlando, there's kind of an unknown with Memphis and the fact that Memphis has kind of been all over the place. They haven't really been playing well as of late, at least, and haven't played them yet this year at all. Right. And so that's the technical weekend, I guess, for some people, including us, by the way. It's a long weekend, and then Monday is a holiday. The Kings take on the Brooklyn Nets on Monday. The Kings may have to resort back to the 130 points per game because we know Brooklyn ain't gonna play defense.
Nah, but they gonna put them up.
They're going to put him up, and, of course, Kevin Durant is back just in the nick of time, assuming, of course, that he clears COVID protocols today. He's back with the Brooklyn Nets, and he'll be back in time for the game on Monday as well.
This is a big weekend, and I'm going to throw Brooklyn in there as well because you got 2 games that I'm not going to shy away from saying it, Damien, because I have expectations for this team. 2 games that you should take care of. You should handle business on Friday and Sunday, and then you got Brooklyn on Monday. You're going to be on a back-to-back. These 3 games, I want to see them go all out. I know last game, Coach Walton was talking about, they looked tired, they were fatigued 3 games in 4 days or something like that. Well, it's time to ramp it back up because you got these 3 games here, and then you got 2 days off before Miami comes here, and then you travel to Chicago on the weekend. They're essentially playing 1 game this week. I know Brooklyn's on a Monday, but you know what I mean? Like, go full board. Go full board here. You know what I'm saying? Try and get these. You definitely need these 2 this weekend, and you got to find a way to try and get Brooklyn as well. I'll say this. I know I keep preaching 2 games. You got to win these 2 games. 2-1 in these next 3, I'll be okay. And I don't care how the 2-1 happens.
And that's a great point because I don't know. You and I thought we like the team to start, but it's like as a relative term, when talking about the Sacramento Kings, and I don't really know if our expectations have necessarily changed. There were enough people talking to us that like, oh, this is going to be a really bad season. It's such and such amount of wins. It's a development year, all these sorts of different things. And I know with the way that they played against Boston and Philly, and I know they lost the Philly game, but they played their butts off in the Clippers and all of that. It's kind of gotten to the point where I don't know that stretch of basketball changed like my expectations of the team or changed how I'm really going to look at them moving forward. But this weekend might. And I know that sounds weird in that if you come out and you beat an Orlando team who I believe Sacramento was better than, you beat a Memphis team who I think Sacramento was better than, and whatever happens against Brooklyn happens against Brooklyn. But when you're able to put up these really competitive games against these really good teams and then follow it up by, and I hate using this term, but I know you will know what I mean. You beat the teams that you're supposed to beat. That's to me, this weekend could change my expectations and thoughts about the Kings' entire season.
Absolutely.
Which is super dramatic, I realize, but that's just how I'm looking at the way they've played the last couple weeks.
But it is what it is when you have these pockets in an NBA schedule where these little stretches of 3 games, and then depending on who you're playing, what they've got going on or whatever, they matter a whole lot. And you have built up some goodwill. You've done some good things to build confidence up within the locker room, within the organization, or whatever. It could all be wiped away with a terrible weekend.
Yeah,
it could all be wiped away. And you want to keep that momentum going, and especially since you got these games at home and you're about to go on a road trip, not next week, but the following week is a big East Coast road trip. You want to take advantage of the games that you have at home. They didn't do that the first time they had that long road trip. I think they had like 7 games and went like 2-5 or something like that.
Yeah.
You don't want to repeat the same thing. Take advantage of this stuff, man.
Well, let's talk more about this. Let's talk more about the Kings. Magic Johnson campaigning for De'Aaron Fox. Luke Walton says he's going to do the same. You'll actually hear what Luke Walton said yesterday, and you'll hear what Harrison Barnes had to say as a preview of our Build Black podcast, our conversation with Harrison Barnes. That's all coming up as D'Lo and KC continue here on Sacramento's #1 sports station, ESPN 1320.
Is that my boy Jared Jack out there? You know I got it on the screen, baby. You know I got it on the screen.
Your man's.
Ignite versus the Blue.
Yeah, it's a great question, Jason. Do 500 teams even have trap games? No, they don't. They absolutely don't have trap games. This is just a game where Orlando is what we were talking about yesterday. Like, Orlando's got more film. They've got more things that they're looking at after that game last week, so they need to weaken some change ago.
Orlando could have the playbook. Kings should smack the hell out of them, man.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to argue that. I'm not going to argue against that whatsoever.
Leezy, what up, man? I saw the love you showed, man, on the gram, man. Appreciate you, big dog. Where you at, man? I saw him earlier. He got in here. I don't know where he go. I don't know. Leezy, I can't find it, but I saw the love you showed on the gram, man. Appreciate you, bro. I got to hit you with that follow back, too. My bad, bro. My bad. I'm getting to that. I'm bad. I'm bad at responding to texts and comments.
Oh, man, you got to. You got to. You got to get in on those, just like I got to get in and put the obligatory like. Everybody like the video on YouTube.
Please do.
Now you can hear me back on YouTube. That's fun. You guys are going to dig this Harrison Barnes interview, man. I'm excited for you to hear it. I hope you'll check out the Bill Black podcast in its entirety. This dude he's special, man. He's special for this community for sure. Yes. And I really, really think that you're gonna dig the portion of the conversation that you're gonna hear. But I really think if you'll take some time to listen to the Bill Black podcast, that even if you just listen to that one episode, I think you'll really enjoy the conversation.
Yeah, I'm a P1 of the Bill Black podcast. I listen all the time. I really love the conversation and the dialogue back and forth, man. I enjoy it. I think you guys will too.
That's cool, man. I appreciate you listening to that. Thank you. It's definitely different. It's definitely a different. It's basically, if anybody ever listened to my old Be Conscious podcast, it's very similar to that, and we focus a lot on the Sacramento community and the people in Sacramento who make a difference here. And you know, I'll just say it over and over again. Harrison is one of those guys.
Yeah. Cole, if we have time during not this break, because we don't have enough time, but maybe the next break, I'll tell you guys the story behind the song that I was singing to the Queen Bee for her birthday today. Give us some
air horns. Queen Bee.
The Queen Bee's birthday. I'm gonna tell you the story behind the song. Gonna Love You, Tiana Taylor, one of the great songs in recent memory, but it holds in a whole nother.
One of the great songs.
Get up, Jalen Green. Get up, Jalen Green.
Don't get your hopes up.
Oh, yeah. No, it's gone. It's gone.
Up, fam. Don't get your hopes up.
It's gone, Damien. It is gone. Jalen Green is going to Washington or something. It's gone.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, Tiana Taylor, Gonna Love Me. Love that song. If you guys want to hear it, I'm singing it. Me and Tiana doing a duet on my IG.
I like it. Yeah, everybody. Oh shit. Cheryl C23 is weighed in. I missed the song. You got to go to at IMK Diddy on Instagram.
Get at me on IG. That's Cheryl in Baltimore. I got you. Cheryl. I got you.
Leezy, I've given The Rock so much of my money, man. I believe I have contributed greatly to The Rock's incredible wealth. Like I have sunk some stacks.
Hey, somebody said who I think it was Eric said maybe your 4K has something to do with your attire.
It could very well be true. When I rock the hoodie, everything's good. It makes sense. Logical. Yeah. Hell yeah. Woo-hoo-hoo! Yes, we here, baby. It's a Friday, man. It's a game day. The Kings are in action tonight against the Orlando Magic. Yeah, he don't know. He don't know. He heard this on an old school station once and was like, "Yo, let me go ahead and drop this for the old heads today."
What you know? Don't play the words either.
Yeah, please don't. Please don't. This show will never see 4 hours. We won't even see 1 p.m. if you wind up running the wrong version of that song. Harrison Barnes, you're going to hear a portion of my conversation with Harrison Barnes for the Bill Black podcast coming up here in just about 11 minutes or so. Really think that you're going to dig that. Magic Johnson tweeted yesterday, not about Lil Magic, not about Tyrese Halliburton.
My man Magic.
But he was tweeting about guys who he thinks deserve more attention for the NBA All-Star game, and De'Aaron Fox was one of those.
I love it. What was the tweet? Was it like, De'Aaron Fox is playing really well?
That sounds like a Magic Johnson tweet.
But you get that Magic cosign though, man. That's big.
No matter how simplistic it is, if you get a Magic cosign, that's a big deal.
Absolutely.
Two guys that may not make it but deserve to be NBA All-Stars are De'Aaron Fox and Jeremy Grant. There you go.
Jeremy Grant does not deserve to be an All-Star, but
now,
okay.
This is more along the lines of a Magic Johnson tweet. De'Aaron Fox is averaging 23 points per game and 6.5 rebounds. And then he threw in stats for like Zach LaVine and Jeremy Grant. Like he's like a research page come to life sometimes on his Twitter. Like I love when he writes, "Yeah, congratulations to the Buccaneers for beating the Chiefs in the Super Bowl 31-9. Like
he goes, "Congratulations to the Bucs for winning the Super Bowl. You're champions now."
Yeah. Thanks, Magic. So I mean, I can speak just for myself. We're so thankful that you gave up that front office job so you could tweet just like that. That is solid.
Oh man, Magic is he's the best on Twitter. I love it. I love it.
He absolutely is.
But yeah, man, you get that Magic cosign for you to be an All-Star. Come on now.
It's not bad. And Luke had a great reaction yesterday. Like the sound doesn't do it justice, so there's no point in playing it. But he was asked, how does the process work about getting one of your guys to be All-Stars? Like, are you going to campaign for De'Aaron Fox? Are you going to talk to other coaches? And he laughs and he really like kind of stalls his answer, but he's like, De'Aaron's playing phenomenal. He deserves to be an All-Star. And yes, I'm going to campaign for him. I'm going to talk to other coaches. And then he kind of pauses and goes, but if he doesn't make it, he's got a couple of days off. So it's kind of like that. Yeah. Like, all right, yeah, I'm going to campaign for him, but if he doesn't make it, yeah, well. To use your favorite Fresh Prince line. Yeah, well.
Right. I mean, and especially with the load that, they have for De'Aaron. And I asked for it. You asked for it. Yeah. We said, give that boy the minutes. Mm-hmm. And they're giving it to him. And, if he had a couple of days, to rest up and recoup, that wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. But, I think the De'Aaron's contract is tied more to all NBAs than it is to all stars. But, that's something to put on your resume, man. I always like how they have the new jackets and stuff like that has the stars for how many times you've been an all-star. Mm-hmm. If De'Aaron could get 4 or 5 of those on a jacket, that'd be pretty cool, man.
Yeah, that's legit for sure. It's funny that you bring up his workload because Luke Walton was asked yesterday about how he's managing practices with the amount of work that so many of his players are getting right now in games?
Yeah, I mean, look, we put a lot of time and effort into the sports science part of it and the recovery. We're really trying to maximize that part of it, knowing how much we're playing them. Like I talk about the balancing act between practice and staying sharp, and I'm leaning way more towards the recovery part right now because of the amount of minutes those guys are playing. But they're playing at a high level right now, and they're winning games. So I get that there's always that risk involved, but at the same time, it's working for the group right now. So there's never a perfect answer, and we're doing everything we can to keep our guys healthy and going into the future as well, doing what we can to try to prevent any injuries from happening.
And he actually went on to talk a little bit more about that as it pertains to, practice and working with these guys and keeping their longevity. It really is just an expansion of that answer right there that I think it's worth you hearing.
It's just trying to find that balance. We went less than an hour today. We got our reps on the defensive end that we need to continue to rep out. We did a little bit of scrimmaging up and down, just because in this league, when you don't practice, it produces sloppy results, and we've seen that not from every team when you don't get that opportunity. So we got out there and scrimmaged a little bit, and it was sloppy. So hopefully we got that stuff out of the system today so that tomorrow we're cleaner. But also keeping in mind that we're trying to stay fresh for the 3 and 4 coming up. So it's just a balancing act. I don't think there's a perfect or a correct answer to it. It's, group to group. But it was nice to get 2 days without a game.
Luke Walton there, and of course you heard him mention the 3 and 4, something that they just came off of. And if you recall, following the Philadelphia 76ers game, we had that clip of him talking about managing timeouts at the end of games because he saw his guys were so tired. I said games plural, really specifically the Philadelphia game, talking about managing timeouts there at the end just to get his guys some rest. So he knows, because they just experienced it, how difficult this 3 and 4 stretch can be for them, no matter whatever you think about Orlando in terms of a level of competition, or whatever you think about who am I missing? We just said it. Memphis is the level of competition.
And I agree with Luke in the way he's going about it, with kind of looking more at rest and building the body back up and keeping people healthy, because at this point in the season, I don't want to say they're playing perfect basketball or anything like that, but it feels like they've corrected the things that they needed to correct as a team, schematically, things of that nature. They know what they want to do out there on the floor. So there's not a whole lot that you can teach them or that they need to tweak in a practice or, on an off day that they don't already know. Now it's about preserving the body, making sure everybody's good. These guys are playing high minutes, your best players. Then you want to make sure that they're taken care of and they're ready to go. So I like the approach that he has when he's talking about, kind of favoring rest and preparation over, preparing the body over game planning and putting in new schemes and things of that nature. That's the way to go right now.
I love that Luke embraces, the sports science part of all of this, and I don't know this for sure. I just envision it in my mind. I want to believe someone says the term sports science to Tom Thibodeau, and he goes, sports science, give me a break. Come on, guys. Hour number 4 of practice. Let's go.
Yeah, he takes it back to the old Pat Riley days. But you know what? I mean, it's kind of hard to argue because it works. It works for Tom Thibodeau, at least.
It works for him, yeah. And I mean, he wore out Minnesota a little bit. I'm
wore
confident.
out Chicago too.
Yeah, and I gotta imagine, especially with such a young group that he has in New York, that maybe he's embraced that sports science stuff a little bit more, and maybe he's embraced to a certain degree. Less is more. I mean, his team is playing, Tom Thibodeau style basketball, they've fallen off a little bit from where they were. But in terms of, a team that's building, I think he's got to feel good about where they're at in terms of the progress that they've made.
Absolutely. I watched the Knicks because, shout out to the Knicks tape. I'm a Knicks supporter. You know what I'm saying? And they play tough.
Mm-hmm.
Like they are a rough, tough, rugged team.
And it's tough
that
to get
fits the city, it feels like.
But it's tough to get that, like that type of mentality set in like in 45 minutes. Like you heard Luke say there, well, we went under an hour today, and I'm sure, Thibodeau changes the length of his practice and the intensity of his practice as the season goes along, as games get more crunched up. And obviously this is a unique schedule where it feels like everything is completely, crunched up, and God only knows what the second half of the season is going to look like as you try to make up some of these lost games. The Kings are going to have a couple of games that have to be made up. The Memphis Grizzlies, who the Kings play on Sunday, are going to have a couple of games that are going to be made up. So then you've got teams like Washington. I think they got like 5 games that have to be made up. So if the first half of the season has been tough for these teams, the second half of the season is going to be even tougher.
Washington and Memphis, their second half going to be crazy for them. Yeah. But you mentioned like how Thibodeau will change the times of the practices, and you can't get maybe like a whole identity change in a 45-minute practice. And I got to give a shout out to Luke. That reminded me of some of the things they talk about when they had those days when the Memphis games got canceled, and all the players and Luke talk about how they got after it. They got after it and then tried to change. I famously was on here calling this team soft and tried to change their soft play, in that time. They used that time wisely. And since then, they have been everything but soft, in my opinion. And even to the point where I lifted it off of them. This is not a soft team anymore. They come and they get after it when they play. So, good job by him.
Luke talked about that, and I want you to hear it. Just not yet. I want you to hear something else. This is a portion of a conversation I had with Harrison Barnes yesterday before the show. And by the way, we had mentioned Rashawn Holmes was going to join us. There was a little miscommunication with the Kings. That's my bad. My apologies. We're working on Rashawn Holmes joining us next week. So my bad on that. We'll get all of that worked out. So kind of dropped the ball there, but I did have the opportunity to talk to Harrison Barnes yesterday as part of the Bill Black podcast. And, we talked about a number of things, including his Goalsetter program. But, the first thing we talked about, KC, is, I told him, he's having a fantastic season, and just had to ask him, like, how he's feeling so far.
Oh, no, I appreciate that. I'm feeling good right now. We had a rough start there, at the beginning of the season. We had to kind of try to find our identity and how we were going to get the ship off the ground. But, lately we've been playing well. Guys have been, really, having that continuity and that chemistry, and things are starting to come together.
Yeah, definitely. With all due respect to Dwayne Johnson and former Kings great Mitch Richmond, you're the rock of this roster right now, and you have done a tremendous job of you guys have fallen into double-digit deficits, and you've done a tremendous job of just keeping everything level and getting this team moving. Man, it's really exciting to watch.
No, I appreciate that, man. I got a chance to know Mitch a little bit, and I'm not quite to that level. Not quite to that level yet, man, but I appreciate the compliment for sure.
That's a strong disagree, but I guess we'll stick with the Black Falcon for now. That's the one that seems to be the one that's making the rounds right now.
Yes, sir.
Let's get right into this. One of the things that has followed you around your career, not just the tremendous play on the court, but your commitment to the city that you're playing in off the court. You've maintained that through your entire career. What started that for you?
I think honestly, just coming from where I come from in Iowa, it definitely takes a village, and I had a great sense of community when I grew up. So when I was able to make it to the NBA and I started playing for these teams, I really developed a bond not only with the fans but with the community themselves. And I wanted to be a part and help and support because, I'm fortunate enough to be able to, live my dream and play basketball for a living. But I also wanted to help out the communities that I'm in. And, I've been fortunate enough to play in unbelievable places where, basketball aside, I feel like I've been able to, really bond, with Oakland, Dallas, and now Sacramento.
I think another thing that's important for us to acknowledge, Harrison, is the role that your wife, Brittany, has played in all of this. Your guys' work in the community of Sacramento has been extraordinary.
Oh, I really appreciate that. A lot of times, people will, give me credit for, things that are done philanthropically, but really my wife is, she's my partner in that. And not only, does she help, but she also leads a lot of these efforts. So, I definitely, want to make sure that, the credit is duly placed, if not more so on her, just because, she does a lot of work behind the scenes that may not, get the headlines or may not get the credit, but she's definitely involved in everything.
The truth is, Harrison, we wanted to have you on to just talk about how great your wife is. Just to be honest with you, that's why we're asking you on here.
I wish I could do that more often.
Well, let's spotlight her a little bit more, because she was the driving force behind you guys working with the Jefferson family in Fort Worth, Texas, if I remember last October. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely.
And police brutality had a major spotlight when you guys went to the bubble in Orlando and finished the NBA season, and you donated, money out of your game checks there in the bubble. Like, has the NBA kind of lost that drive to push those social issues since the bubble came to a close and the new season kind of started?
I think in general, there has to be, that desire within yourself to not only educate yourself, but to keep the momentum going. There's going to be times, when it was the pandemic, when we were in the bubble, when, it seemed like everyone was aligned in terms of, pushing these issues out, in terms of spotlighting and bringing attention and awareness and doing all of these things. And, now that, we're in a different space, sometimes everyone's agenda may not be aligned with that. Everyone may not be pushing out the same messages. So just continuing to not only have those conversations, with teammates and with people in terms of how they can get involved, locally and nationally in just different projects, but, to try to continue to use my platform to speak on these issues, because, there's always a new news cycle. There's always something else going on. There's always something else that doesn't want to have these uncomfortable conversations about race, about police brutality, about equity, about, diversity and inclusion. So continue to try to push for those things, I think, is very important.
The whole bubble experience to finish out last season really revolved around social justice and players, really pushing for their voices to be heard. Did you consider not going? Like, what were those conversations like?
It was tough. I mean, there was so many conversations. One, just even getting to the bubble. So many people were talking about, do you play? Do you not play? What are the pros and cons? And then, when Milwaukee made that stand and all the teams are having that conversation, not only just the ones who are in the bubble, but just all players in general, because everyone has to have an answer for it, right? And if all the collective players are saying we're going to stop the NBA, it affects everybody. So when you're having those conversations, it simply boils down to, what is the best way to make a stand? And by playing, we do have a microphone. By not playing, we can be out on the streets. And the consensus was, to play, to use this time, to use this microphone, to continue to blast out these messages and bring awareness. But like I said earlier, the job is not done. There's still a lot more that needs to go on. And, I remember, playing in Sacramento on the opposing team, right after, Stephon Clark happened. I remember being traded here, and I think there was that, it was like a night of healing, event that, I did with Doug Christie, and just seeing the community come out and hearing from, the people in Sacramento about not only Stephon Clark, but all of the other injustices that have happened in the community. So, like I said earlier, it's great that in that moment, it was a national moment, we were able to, bring a lot of awareness to a lot of issues. And that's great. I think, locally, especially in places like Sacramento, where there is already a history, there is already work being done. It's how do you continue to push that forward, even when there's not that national spotlight on you.
And that transitions us, beautifully into, this is the Build Black podcast. We're with the Build Black, coalition and the Build Black organization.
That's
and
right.
You have partnered with Goalsetter, which is a Black-owned finance app. Can you tell us a little bit about Goalsetter and then a little bit about your program, Drafted.
Yeah, so pretty much Goalsetter is an app that allows kids to have a savings account. And through that savings account, they're able to go through financial literacy lessons, whether that's quiz-based, meme-based, however the child chooses to learn best. And through those rewards, you get continual access, with their parents in order to see their money. And the whole point of that is, one, financial literacy, having these conversations at a young age, but two, learning how to save, learning how to spend, seeing your money grow, and all of the different things that are associated with that. So, I was, excited to be a part of this just because I think financial literacy is extremely important. Those were conversations at a young age that I wasn't having simply because, money was tight and you were just, trying to put, one foot in front of the next. So,
right.
The idea of saving and what you're going to do with your money and seeing it grow and compound interest and all these different things were not necessarily in my repertoire. But, I think those lessons are extremely important for these young kids, to have financial freedom as I get older.
You mentioned a moment ago when you were younger, and I think we were all like this. We have $40, $20, $10. We want to go out and spend it. How do you share the message of the importance of investing to young people?
I mean, I think it's understanding how money can grow. Do you want $40 today, or do you want 65, in this period of time, or do you want 85 in this period of time? And, whatever you want to buy then, I'm sure will be there later and maybe even at a discount. And then at that point in time, if you push back the impulse buying, I'm sure if you came back to it 6 months later, you may not want the same thing. So all of these different conversations, it's not something that came out of a book. These are just, lived experiences, whether it's, me or somebody else, like, we've all walked in these shoes. We've all made an impulse buy. We've all made, financial decisions that we're like, oh, okay, if I would have done this or that, like this would be smart. So having these conversations and saying, look, you don't have to live through these same mistakes that either myself or other people have made, like learn from our experience without having to go through it. So then it puts you a leg up.
Is there anything people who are listening can do to like help with Goalsetter or help with Drafted or help, whether it's, sponsor young people, or is there anything that people can do to get involved with this program?
I think the biggest thing is, if you can get involved, that's great. If you can draft kids, at $40 in each checking account, each savings account, that would be great. But, more important than that is starting to have these conversations. Not everyone necessarily has the resources to be able to donate, to these kids, but the knowledge is there. You can have these conversations. You can, maybe if you don't know how to have these conversations, you can get on the Bill Black app.
That's right.
Support a Black business because, circulating our dollar in our community more frequently is something that needs to happen in this conversation as well. So I think there's a lot of different ways that you can attack, financial freedom with financial literacy, whether it's donating, whether it's conversation, or whether it's just, supporting another Black-owned business.
Incredible message, Harrison. We appreciate you so much for joining us. Good luck against Orlando. Good luck the rest of the season, man, and stay healthy.
No, I definitely appreciate it, guys, and we'll be in touch about, continuing to build moving forward.
That's Harrison Barnes right there of your Sacramento Kings. Thank you to the Sacramento Kings and some of those other voices that you heard back there, Kendrick Montgomery Block and Barry Axius, my co-host on the Bill Black podcast. We appreciate the Kings for making that happen. If you want to hear the entire conversation, it is available now. Normally we drop episodes on Tuesdays, but we thought it was important to get Harrison's message out as soon as possible. So that episode of the Bill Black podcast is available now on the radio.com app, on Apple, Spotify, Google Play, wherever you get your podcast from. Just search Build Black, or you could search Be Heard and check out our entire family of podcasts. Not just Bill Black, but J Street Vibes and the Deuce and Mo podcast as well. So again, thank you to Harrison Barnes and the Sacramento Kings for making that happen. Hope that you enjoyed it. KC, I want to get back to some of the on the court stuff, including the Kings physicality. Plus, JJ Watt released the star today. Wasn't Deshaun Watson. It was J.J. Watt. We'll talk about that. And how do the 49ers fit into this equation with the Houston Texans? We've got all that coming up as D'Lo and Casey continue here on Sacramento's #1 sports station, ESPN 1320. Oh man, that's solid. Yeah, that's solid. And I took that.
You did that.
I took us like a minute early. I didn't know where to there was no point in like diving into something and then going to break. So it was just let's just get out.
All I was gonna say was how great Harrison was. It wasn't
so
nothing
good,
that I hadn't been saying. Yeah.
The whole conversation is really good. Like, it's the boss is here. Happy birthday, Jazz. Happy birthday, Jazz. Yeah,
yes,
buddy.
Indeed, the queen bee. So, real quick, let me tell you guys this because I think it's a great story. So, I make the decision. I'm gonna propose. I'm gonna do this, and I have a way I was gonna do it. Didn't want to do it in public because she always said, "Don't ever do that," because she's gets shy and embarrassed. So I was like, "All right, well, I'm gonna set up something afterwards, but I'm actually propose at the house in the living room. Got the house clear." Got it in there. So I was like, how I'm going to do it is I'm going to have this little, filler song playing. I'm going to ask her to dance. And then I'm going to play Eric Benet, Tamia, Spin My Life.
Oh,
and
yes, sir.
And then when it goes,
yes, sir.
Spin My Life, that's when I'm going to go down on the knee and propose. Cool. I'm in there. So everything's going smooth. I throw on Tiana Taylor, Gonna Love Me as the song. And I'm like, hey, come dance with me. She's like, in the middle of the living room. Why? You're crazy. And I was like, just dance with me. Just dance with me. So we danced through that song. Everything's great. Everything's smooth. And then Eric Benet and Tamia come on. And all of a sudden you hear, hoo, hoo, hoo. And she goes, I hate this song.
Oh,
turn it off.
Oh, wow.
She said, turn it off. I hate this song. I said, hey, excuse me, you what?
How do you like, what type of person hates Eric Benet and Tamia?
Yeah, she's like, turn it off. I don't want to hear this song. I was like, what are you talking about?
Jazz, so, we got to talk, fam. Like, what?
So I work, I instantly, just make a move. And I'm like, we really were vibing in Tiana. Let me play that again. So I play that again. And then I get down on one knee, tears from both of us all over the place. Yes, it's all this other stuff, but it was almost gone in an instant. Never forget that. She said, I hate this song. Turn it off.
That is all. I'm glad it worked out for y'all. I mean, did you rethink it? Like, did you ever go, this girl hates Eric Benet and Tamia? Like, maybe we should think this over. Maybe we're moving too fast.
I don't know what's wrong with her not liking that song.
What other great records do you hate? Because at some point you might hit a deal breaker.
I mean, there are some that we don't see eye to eye on.
To hate.
It's just like, I hate this song. Turn it off.
It's a great love song.
What?
What's the other one with Terry Dexter from En Vogue?
Which one does she do?
There's two versions of Spend My Life.
Really?
Yeah,
no, I have not heard this one.
Yeah.
Just like there's two versions of actually there isn't two versions of So Into You. Fabulous remade it.
Yeah, that ain't two versions.
Instead of Tamia. He had Tamia on the regular, and then I think for the video he got Aaliyah. Or not Aaliyah, no. Ashanti.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's what happened.
Okay.
Yeah, so I made it through, guys. I made it through.
All right.
Oh, you want to talk about an all-timer. You want to talk about Miguel is good forever because he made it.
Yeah, this is a great point by Cole, though. How did you not know she hated that song? I feel like that would come up in conversation. Hey,
if you ask her,
I hate Eric Benet and Tamia. Like, I just wanna...
if you ask her, she probably says, I just don't listen to her. That's probably what happened.
Well,
she ain't never said that. I would have remembered that.
Yeah, that kind of sticks with you. That'll kind of stick with you.
So, okay, check this out.
Lazy, I'm about to boot you off I'm about to boot you out the chat for this. Shout out to Robin Hood. Yeah, drop a little naughty by nature here on this Friday, man. We hope you're having as much fun as we are, because we absolutely are having some fun here on this game day. Courtside with D'Lo and KC on the air at 6 o'clock tonight, getting you ready for the Sacramento Kings and the Orlando Magic. Big weekend ahead for the Sacramento Kings. One more quick mention: if you missed our conversation with Harrison Barnes, you can hear the edited version on the Rewind app of the or on the Rewind feature of the radio.com app, or just go check out the Bill Black podcast. That was about a third of the interview. We got close to 30 more minutes of that, so we encourage you to go check it out. Really, really good stuff. And I love that post popped up from The Athletic saying, "Yeah, no, Kings aren't interested in taking calls about Harrison Barnes.
We're hanging up that phone."
Yep. It ain't happening.
Okay, I mean, Damien, we talked about it before. I know, I understand, people trying to get assets and all this other stuff. I get it. I completely get it. But Harrison Barnes is not 35 years old.
Yeah.
He's 28. He's playing well. And even if this is like a little above what he normally does, what he normally gives you and what he traditionally gives you isn't bad. Like,
no.
I don't think that's the problem. I think the problem is you don't have players that are necessarily better than him, so he can fit into his role better. But not only see this contract through, he's 28. He's 28.
Another one. Yeah, give him another one. 916-349-1320 if you want to be a part of the show. Again, 916-349-1320 if you want to watch and jump in the chat here. Go to twitch.tv/ESPN1320 or go search out the ESPN 1320 YouTube channel and watch us there as well.
Yeah, man. Hey, the Twitch be popping, especially during the commercial breaks. The Twitch be popping.
It's a legit 2-hour show. There are no commercial breaks during the Twitch app. Should mention it's only going to be a 2-hour show for a little while longer.
Well, just a little while. Just a little while. You know what I'm saying?
Little tease for you. I was like, what was that? It was Ric Flair's music. Like, okay, I got you.
Yeah.
We had mentioned before, actually, you had mentioned before going to that Harrison Barnes conversation that you had removed the soft label from the Sacramento Kings.
Yep.
And they have noticeably become a more, physical team. Luke was asked about, kind of the change in physicality with the Sacramento Kings yesterday.
Well, yeah, we're doing a better job of it. We still get hurt, with some of that stuff. Even looking at the Orlando game that, we won at the beginning of, when we were started to turn this around a little bit. They were killing us on the offensive glass. It's they really beat us up. Now we're beating people up on the offensive glass too. But it's one of the main things we have to continue to look to improve on is our defensive rebounding. And we know that sometimes part of that has to do with us playing guys that might be smaller than who they're matched to. But there's nights we've done good jobs of it. And those are the nights that we, it's 5 guys attacking the glass. It's help side defense. I think Harrison's done a great job of playing up against bigger people. I thought De'Aaron in that Philly game got matched on Tobias a few times, got matched on Ben Simmons a few times, and really held his own to where it looked like they were trying to pick that matchup out. And after a few failed attempts at it, they went away from it. And I think you got to give De'Aaron a lot of credit for that. So, we're getting better at it. Our guys are scrapping and playing extremely hard. But there's been some definite progress from the start of the season to now.
And you're in firm agreement of that, I assume.
Yes, absolutely. And it's like I've always said, when you talk about them being tougher and being physical, that doesn't necessarily mean you're just throwing people around or whatever, but it means that you are giving resistance when people are trying to push you around. You're not letting yourself be pushed around, and you make a collision on the defensive end, like I've been talking about other people do when you try to go to the basket. And when you're on the offensive end and there's a collision, sometimes you push past that, not in the offensive foul mode, but you take that initial bump and you're strong enough to keep the ball, make the pass, take the shot, whatever the case may be, and still execute. And that's what I was looking for from this team. I also remember in this game, in this matchup the first time when Orlando and the Kings met, something happened where De'Aaron Fox got called for a foul. I think it was Ennis or somebody like that. It said something to Fox about like, yeah, you fouled me or whatever. And typically the Kings they're really mild mannered. They don't do nothing. But Fox was like, bleep, bleep, bleep. What you bleep, bleep? You know what I'm saying? And he got a technical foul for it. And I was like, all right, let him know you here. All right, let him know you here. I like that. So that was the Knicks game. You could probably make the argument was the start of it, but going on that road trip since then, they've been both physically and mentally tough. I love it.
De'Aaron Fox cusses a surprising amount.
Oh, he does.
Like you wouldn't like it doesn't match. Like you don't think like he would be that guy. And then when he was on the All the Smoke podcast, it was like, all right, like this is pretty chill. You're with Matt Barnes, you're with Stevie. Like I get it. But then he was on the Zach Lowe podcast, and it's like, hey, this ain't that type of podcast.
Yeah, he'll let them things fly, man.
Oh, he'll let them go at the press conferences too. Now that they're on Zoom and he knows they're not I'm on TV, like he lets them go a little bit there too.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I love I can't stress it, and I know this. It's the same exact thing from a fan's perspective. How enjoyable it is to watch the Sacramento Kings team. That's actually, it feels like they're good. It's so much fun, because we couldn't talk about the Kings for the first hour of a show when there was no game last night if they're bad. Like, who wants to constantly hear about a terrible basketball team over and over and over again?
Right.
It's fun to be able to talk about a team that you. This is the first time in my years in sports media where I feel like this team has a future. Like this team has a real future, and that future is starting to build right now.
And you have performances like De'Aaron is putting up. I think even that adds to it. It's not just that they're winning. It's the fact that you see a guy in De'Aaron Fox who looks like a superstar, who looks like somebody that can really carry the franchise, or at the very least help carry the franchise with another guy, whether it's Marvin Bagley, Tyrese Halliburton, or whatever the case may be. And it really is exciting. It really is exciting. It really is something that this city has waited for a decade and a half. But I mean, it's finally paying off. Absolutely.
And of course, we're always looking ahead. Like, okay, well, what's next? What's next? Is Harrison on the move? The Kings say no. Hopefully that's the case, and Harrison isn't going nowhere. What does that mean for Buddy Hield? Is Buddy Hield still on the move? Are they even still looking to move Buddy Hield? Hell, what the hell can you even get for Buddy Hield for a guy who is a very, very capable shooter? He's just kind of struggling shooting right now. One thing I think Buddy has done fantastic, whether it's for the Kings or it winds up being for a different team, ultimately I think he's going to wind up staying with the Kings the entire year. That's not inside knowledge. That's just my opinion on it. He's found ways to be impactful. He's found other ways to be impactful when he's not relying on a shot. Now, hopefully we see a repeat performance from this first game against Orlando. It was his best offensive stretch. It was his best offensive 48 minutes of the season. Hopefully we see a repeat of that tonight, but I'm good with him taking less shots and being more active in terms of rebounds, being more active on the defensive end, maybe moving the ball a little bit or around a little bit more. Like, I'm perfectly okay with that.
I like it. I like the way Buddy has played. I've acknowledged it. I've saluted it. I think he's doing a great job of, like you just mentioned, finding other ways to be effective out there, finding other ways to contribute, whether it's on the boards. He's trying on the defensive end. He's not a turnstile. There is some resistance there. If he gets caught on a switch, somebody on the post, he's battling him. He's out there competing, and his playmaking has really shocked me a lot. Like, there's times when he goes to the basket and typically he'd force up some crazy shot or a fall away, and he's giving a wraparound pass to Rashawn Holmes or kicking it out to a 3-point shooter. I love all that. However, Damien, he's paid what he's paid because he gets buckets. And if he's not getting buckets, that's a problem. I need him to snap out of this. I need him to start making shots. And I don't know if it's as simple as having a mixture of in-between game, getting into the paint, and three-pointers. If it's as simple as that, then let's do it. But even a three ball, like I always say, Damien, I've been saying this since the bubble last year. And people were like, well, he's not being used right, and Luke isn't doing da-da-da. But he's getting wide open looks and not making them. And I need him to knock those down.
We praised, and I think rightfully so, Buddy's game against Orlando a couple of weeks ago a lot, because we referenced the first 4 plays of the game where he penetrates to the basket, ball rolls off the rim. I think Bagley gets the offensive rebound, winds up going to the foul line. He did a step-in mid-range jumper on the next play. He did another step-in mid-range jumper on his third play. Took a 3 in his fourth. He still took a lot of threes. He took 12 threes in that game. Now, he was 7 of 12, but we've often have looked at his field goal to 3-point field goal ratio. He shot 12 3-pointers in that game against Orlando. He only shot 17 field goal attempts. So his percentage of threes is still really, really high. As much as I praised him, and I think we praised him for the way he played offensively in that game, he still shot a really high percentage of threes.
Did he shoot 16 the other night against Philly? Wasn't he 7 of 20 and 6 of 16 from beyond the arc?
That sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
There's been a couple of games like that. There's been a couple of 16 field goal attempts, 15 3-pointers. Like there have been several of those this year.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the cause of that is. We've speculated before, like the stronger the defense gets, the more physical the defense gets. Buddy chooses to stay kind of back in that safe space rather than work a little bit harder, penetrate to the basket, maybe run off some screens and do some things like that. Maybe, and I've always been against Buddy creating his own shot. But if we're talking like a 2-dribble step in and not like bringing the ball up the court, dribble like James Harden style, like those are two different types of creating your own shots. The first one I'm for, the second one I am not.
And to his credit, the handle's gotten a little tighter. You know, I see him out there handling the rock a little bit and being able to make a move. But the one that I hate is the dribble, get somewhere, and then you do like a 20-foot step back. Like, don't do that, buddy. Like, turn the corner and try and get to the cup a little bit. So those are the ones that are frustrating. But I think for the most part, Buddy, I like what you're getting out of Buddy. The one thing that's missing is him knocking down shots. And if you came to me at the beginning of the season and said Buddy's going to do all these other things and the only thing that he has to improve on is knocking down open shots, I'd be like, okay, because that's going to happen at some point. You know what I mean? So yeah, I want to see him be the shooting guard, right? The shooting guard. I'm not looking for him to be Doug Christie, Bruce Bowen. I want him to be the shooting guard, the guy that averages 20 or close to 20 a night.
7 of 20 from the field, 6 of 16 from 3. That was Buddy's stat line versus the Philadelphia 76ers.
Yeah.
You're listening to D-Lo and KC on KIFM, West Sacramento, KRXQ, HD2 Sacramento, or radio.com sports station. And driven by Lasher's Elk Grove Dodge. He's Kenny Caraway. I'm Damien Barling. We thank you so much for spending part of your Friday here with us. First of 2 shows for us today. We'll be back at 6 o'clock to get you ready for Kings basketball. Of course, it is the Kings and the Orlando Magic, as we have discussed a great deal here in the first hour of this show. If you want to watch along and take part in the chat, you can. Twitch.tv/ESPN1320. We hope that you'll follow us over there and seek out our YouTube channel. We're live there as well at ESPN1320. Hit the subscribe button, follow, hit the like as well if you're watching the video. We'd greatly appreciate it. Let's shift gears here a little bit, partner. Marshall Harris, by the way, will be with us in a half hour, as he is each and every single Friday. J.J. Watt was released by the Houston Texans today. Apparently, allegedly, according to J.J. Watt, he asked for his release, and the Texans granted it to him. Imagine that. No contentious back and forth or anything like that. Now, obviously, I am subtexting the Deshaun Watson situation here, but we knew J.J. Watt wasn't going to see next year. Like, he was due $17 million on a certain date in March, and with all due respect to J.J. Watt, he's not a $17 million player anymore. Like, you've seen his career steadily decline a lot because of injuries. Like, he plays pretty hard out there. He's dealt with some injuries, and he has absolutely no future in Houston. The Houston Texans have absolutely no future. And so it's fine that he went to, if this is actually how it played out, it's fine if he went to the Texans and he asked to be released and the Texans released him. Cal McNair, the owner of the Houston Texans, was asked about the Deshaun Watson situation. He only briefly addressed it, saying, quote, "There's a lot of misinformation out there. I'll leave it at that. Today we want to focus on JJ. Deshaun is our quarterback. He is a Texan, and we expect him to remain a Texan, and we'll leave it at that." When McNair was asked about criticism of the Texans front office, he responded, "It's not the right time to talk about the front office. It's all about JJ and honoring him."
So did he have like a Zoom press conference to announce that J.J. Watt was being released? Is that what this was?
It's Texas. He may have had 100,000 people there for the press conference. I assume it was a Zoom though. Yeah.
Because I'm like, I know. Okay, I'm going to be respectful of what J.J. has done with the Houston Texans, right? Mm-hmm. Off the top of my head, I'm like, this doesn't deserve a press conference, but maybe it does. Maybe it does. Am I wrong on that?
I mean, yeah. No, I'm okay with it. Like, I mean, Peyton had one when he left. Jim Irsay was damn near in tears when he let Peyton Manning go out of Indianapolis. I know JJ didn't win the Texans a Super Bowl. Like he was like legitimately in the MVP conversation. He was catching touchdown passes and rushing for touchdown passes one year, for goodness sakes. He's the greatest
Texan of all time until Deshaun. Deshaun might not even be there
hopefully he doesn't.
enough.
But
right.
I believe you're absolutely accurate. Just the Houston Texans part of the organization, and let's also not forget. I was critical of the coverage of it, but I'm certainly not going to minimize what he did for the city of Houston after the hurricane came through and the flood. And I very distinctly remember him posting that video the first time saying he wanted to raise like $200,000, and I think he wound up raising like 30 some odd million just because it kept getting picked up by different people, and as they say, it went viral. And I think that's I don't want to ignore that contribution from JJ Watt to the city of Houston as well, to the community of Houston. So I'm okay with the press conference. I just don't. If you're the owner of the team and you're embroiled in the single biggest NFL story, right, you can't choose to call a press conference and then ignore the single biggest story to acknowledge that you're letting your buddy leave.
Right, and I guess that's where I was getting at with him being in front of the media. Like, what did you think was going to happen? I mean, it's not going to be 20 questions on JJ Watt being released. Like, there's really not a whole lot to say about that. Like, he got released, we moved on, he asked for his release, that's it. Like, there's not 20 questions. So if you're going to take other questions, obviously they're going to be about Deshaun. And we're not here to talk about that today. Well, okay, it should have just been. That's why I feel like maybe, like I said, maybe it deserves a press conference. But if you're not here to talk about anything but him getting released, should have been a statement and move on.
Yeah, I mean, and that's probably what it should have been. I mean, JJ put out a video like on Instagram, I think it was, or on some social media platform. So he puts out a video. You could have just put out a statement right after. It was obviously an orchestrated, plan, because poor JJ Watt thought he was breaking the news to everybody. Ian Rappaport had it a couple of minutes before. Like, it was like, hey, your Texans organization dimed you out on the way. Like, that they called to get ahead of this story before you could post your little sentimental video message.
Yeah, JJ was like, yeah, I'm controlling my own narrative. Let me break this news. It's already been broke.
No, he's not. No, he's not. They made sure Ian Rappaport, NFL Network, NFL Media. Like, it's easy to connect the dots here with this organization, but I actually think JJ still has something to give football on the field.
I could see 1 year.
That's exactly what I was going to say. 1 year, new organization, new life, contender. Bay Area, I don't know. Cheap, I don't know. Throwing it out there, and I'm having some fun with JJ Watt and the Niners. I think it's possible. I think he will. I mean, has he already talked to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? Is he the latest to go down to Florida and stretch out his career a little bit with Tom Brady? Like, I'm not sure, but I do think one more year. JJ Watt has something to give whatever organization he signs with.
Well, I mean, if maybe JJ Watt is a good idea if you're replacing an edge rusher that you traded away.
That will remain nameless?
I mean, we can name this one.
Okay, go ahead. I just want to make sure. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, if you trade away an edge rusher, to get a quarterback.
Wow, you are really trying to get Nick Bosa off of the San Francisco.
Maybe JJ Watt can replace him. I don't know.
Well, okay, all right. Well, let's go here then. Let's go to Jeremy Fowler. Jeremy Fowler was on Get Up, and the one person who watches that show caught this little gem from Jeremy Fowler talking about Deshaun Watson.
Well, Greeny, here's the latest. I checked in with a source who said Deshaun Watson has a list of teams that he's intrigued by. He's not pigeonholing anything, but he's got a list. I didn't get all the teams, but I was told the Denver Broncos, San Francisco 49ers are two of them. I also asked the source about the Jets and the Dolphins because they have the most draft capital this year and the next few years. I was told the Jets, probably not, maybe more so the Dolphins as far as viability. But Watson knows, look, he has to wait this out. He's got the no trade clause in his contract. But it's all about the Texans continuing to tell teams, and they believe them, that they're not going to trade Deshaun Watson. I've talked to several execs who say they think GM Nick Caserio is dug in here.
Oh, there's a lot there.
Yeah, there's a lot there, buddy.
All right, let me get in here real quick, Damien. Okay, so number one, like I've been saying for weeks now, the 49ers are the destination. It's really, to me, it's really between the 49ers and Miami if you're Deshaun Watson. And I know they throw Denver in there. Not really sure why you'd want to go to Denver, but whatever. You can throw them in there.
Yeah, I didn't understand. That confused me too. I didn't understand that either.
Yeah, if you're Deshaun Watson, it's really Niners, Dolphins, where he would want to go. They have the combination of where he would want to go and could offer the most, right? Our esteemed producer has his ear to the street in Miami. So in turn, I got my ear to the street in Miami. They say Miami's good. Miami's good. They're rolling with Tua. They're going to make that happen. That really leaves the 49ers. And if it depends on how bad the 49ers want it. If they want it, they have the package and the assets and the draft picks and the current players to make it happen if they want it bad enough. The other thing about this, I know maybe it's posturing or maybe it's negotiating or whatever the case may be, but much like I said with the Rockets and James Harden, it's done. It's done. He's not playing for you.
I agree.
He's not playing for you.
Yeah,
so stop with this. We're going to keep him here. We're not trading him. Stop. It's done. Like you're the best you could do right now is you need to go ahead and make this deal sometime before the draft so you can get that year draft pick. Mm-hmm. If you wait till after the draft, you're gonna wait a whole nother year. You don't know what position the Niners or the Dolphins or anybody might be in. Get this done fairly soon before the draft so you can get this year's pick and begin the rebuild quick. I don't know what the Houston Texans are even talking about. Like I said, I understand posturing, but I don't know what the hell they're talking about.
And I think you probably said this right when you started. That is a negotiating tactic. You know what I mean? Like let these offers flood in here. 916-349-1320 if you want to be a part of the show. We'd love to hear from you. Manny, what's going on, baby?
Hey, I wanted to comment. I said, are you going to start singing Stop What You're Doing because you already ruined the team that you love? That's going to do some digital underground on them in a minute.
About to say, we got to work on the bars, man. We got to work on the bars.
I know, but I didn't call for that. I did want to say this, right? I did want to say this. I want to show y'all, I'm usually dead inside, but I got number love for y'all. Y'all made my daughter's probably month. She heard y'all shout me out basically on a show a couple of days ago, the Serial Connection. She's running around telling everybody she's famous. She wants merch. She think we got Serial Connection merch everywhere. She wants cheese. And I love it. You know, I love seeing her happy. I love seeing that she puts everything into the Serial videos. But I don't listen to many people on the radio, right? When I first moved from Chicago, I was still listening to Watto and Sylvie. I listened to Big Al for a little bit when he had but for ESPN, like as soon as I heard y'all first episode, I'm here for the long haul. I love y'all. Y'all keep it real. And any of y'all that are just new to this show, stick around because these guys, if they already ain't blown up, they're about to blow all the way to the sky. So
my man, Manny, real quick, but don't leave it. So Serial Connection is a YouTube channel. If it is, I want to follow. I'm gonna check out the videos, man.
It is. It's on Instagram and on YouTube. I do some of the videos myself because if I put that much sugar into my daughter, it'll be diabetes all day. But she does like once or twice a month. She does the reviews with me, and I let her go with it. And yeah, so it's our little daughter's daily thing.
That's dope. I'm subscribing, man. Right when the show's over, man. I got you.
I appreciate y'all.
And Manny, we appreciate you, man. Make sure you show your daughter that little stretch of the live stream there when you called in. I want you both to see that. We're trying to add some elements here to our live stream. So I hope that you'll check that out, man. I hope that everybody will check out the live stream. It's a whole experience.
The chat just ain't never nice, man. They can't just never let a moment happen.
Hey, he's cutting a promo. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Like we're all wrestling fans here. He was cutting a promo. Ain't nothing wrong with that. And you know what I love, man? I love, moms and dads, helping, because social media has such a social media is a really, really ugly place. Like, we're all very, very aware of that, but it can be a fantastic place if you utilize it correctly.
Yeah.
And hearing Manny, helping his daughter kind of find her creative feel there on social media, man, that's pretty dope.
That's awesome.
That's pretty
man.
dope.
That's awesome. The Serial Connection. Shout out to them over there, man.
Yes, indeed. And Manny's been with Manny, Ramsey, Big Al. I feel like they've been with us since day number one, man. 916-349-1320. I know a lot of you have. Rich, Cole, the whole crew. We just continuing to grow this family. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Hey, we're sending that check out to Manny, showing us love, man. We ain't above. We ain't above. I'm also with this. We're gonna isolate that Manny audio. We're gonna make a promo out of it. We're gonna send it to every business in the city of Sacramento, because we're gonna have some extra time here in the coming weeks with some elements that I think some businesses will want to get up on. So let's just throw this out there.
Rub hands like Birdman.
Tuesday, we're going to remove all the mystery about the future of D'Lo and KC. How about that? This Tuesday, we'll remove all of the questions about the future of D'Lo and KC. So make sure you lock in with us. Don't go anywhere. We're going to step out. We're going to come back. It's been 21 years since a couple of things. We'll explain that. And has the East finally caught up with the West? Plus, Marshall Harris joins us. We're going commercial free until the top of the hour when we get back here on Sacramento's #1 sports station, ESPN 1320. I just caught Rich's. Haven't heard from Big Al in a while. Maybe the dead name.
Oh no! Oh my goodness! Somebody call Big Al now.
We gotta make sure we gotta shout out Big Al as soon as we get back. Hey man, just let us know you good, bro. Like, just shoot us a note, man. Just shoot us a note.
You know what it is, man. Uptown, Third Ward. You know what I mean? Cash money, young
Marshall,
money. You know what it is, baby.
Marshall just tweeted, and of all the things he tweeted, beat this.
Hey, rub hands like Birdman. Marshall, you know what time it is, man. You little bro finally catching on, man. Finally catching on.
Love it. Love it. Man, the dynamic with y'all two is wild. Y'all are silly as hell.
Let me see. My man. Hey, check this out, man. Come on, man. I'm gonna say this now in the chat, and I'm gonna say this when we get on air. My boy Jared Jack. We're in the second half. 8.6 assists. Come on now.
Okay.
When we come back from the March break, I don't know. Maybe he needs to have a contract in his email.
Okay.
Is he getting another bucket right now? Oh, another assist. Oh no, neither. Jalen Green taking off. Oh, Jalen Green is here. You know, Jalen Green. So I made
updated stat from Will Z. Will Z is our official stat coordinator.
Will, my guy Will. What's up?
He's tracking Kenny's keys.
Yeah. What's up, Will?
73.3% of Buddy's shots have been from three this year. 17th highest in the league. Really?
That's crazy. There's 16 more guys that are just taking threes.
That is a hell of a stat, Will. Good.
I would have only thought Bertans and Joe Harris. That's it. Who are the other
My goodness.
15 people. 14
Bertans
people.
88.8. Wow, that is a hell of a stat, Will. Good looking.
Will, if you can, Will, I don't mean to put you to work, but give me some of these names. I need to know who else is taking these many threes.
I never would have guessed 17th.
Wow, not to go off subject, but Leezy, I'm a bit of a Birdman stan. Birdman got a catalog. I'm not saying the greatest catalog. I'm just saying Birdman got a catalog. Don't front on it. So, you know, the funny thing, so I was about to say I'm watching Jalen Green, and, you know, I've made a lot about Jalen Green. I think the kid's going to be a superstar. But seeing him in these G League games, right? He just looks like a kid. Like, he looks like a high school kid, and you forget, like, when they get to the NBA level, they're like 18, 19-year-old kids, man. And he looks like a kid out there. He looks like a very talented high schooler, but a high schooler.
Yeah, we'll shout out Dominic. Did you want us to shout him out on the you're listening on the stream? We'll shout him out on Twitch. Dominic, what's good, baby? Are you a Chiefs fan too, Dominic?
Good. Yeah. Gotta send him a Jimmy jersey, a Jimmy Garoppolo jersey.
Well, easy. I don't think he'd ever see it. I got a nice little LSU plaque. You can't see it behind me. Rich sent me a nice little LSU plaque when they won the championship, man. Nice. That was pretty dope. Yeah, that was pretty dope. Anthony Joshua to the WWE? What you think?
I mean, no, he's still fighting.
He says, I'm going to do WWE because. Wait,
I don't even think Anthony Joshua is that charismatic to be in the WWE.
I'm going to do WWE because that's what Muhammad Ali done. Dude, Muhammad Ali was the special guest referee at WrestleMania 1. That's all he did.
Fam, he went in there with the button up and the bow tie and rang the bell. Like, what are you talking about? And I like AJ, but just relax.
Yeah, chill out, bro.
Don't want to be a player.
We outsource a lot of our work here on the D'Lo and KC show here on ESPN 1320 to all of the folks in the chat, man. Will Z's been working on stats for us for a long time. He hit us with one that absolutely stunned me. Buddy Hield has taken, I think it was 73% of his field goal, 73.3% of his shots have been from three.
Wow.
That's not the surprising part. We kind of knew like what that number was around that number. Like Deuce had thrown it out a little bit ago for us. That's only 17th in the league.
That's crazy.
In terms of the highest percentage of shots that are three-pointers. Bertrand is number one. 88.8% of his shots are three-pointers.
I'm looking at some of these names here. Obviously, I'm not surprised that Duncan Robinson, he's fourth. Michael Mulder, I think that's the boy from the Warriors. He's third at 86%, basically 87% of his shots.
But
crazy. Like, it's so many people ahead of Buddy Hield.
Tell me I'm crazy as I look at this list. Is Buddy Hield the best shooter on that list?
Duncan Robinson.
Oh, okay. Where's Duncan? Oh, he's fourth. Okay.
In Bertans. I'm looking here. Is Joe Harris on here? I thought Joe Harris would be. I don't think Joe Harris is on here.
Jay Crowder is on there, for goodness sakes.
Hey, man, Will does a great job. Yep. Kings Herald, I don't know what y'all trying to do. I don't know if you're trying to do that, Will, but holla at this dude, man. He does a great job with the numbers.
Yeah, he absolutely does, man. 916-349-1320 if you want to get in here over the next 10 minutes.
We got to give a shout out to Dominic.
Yeah, Dominic, man.
Dominic, man. What up, man? What's going on, Dominic, out in Baton Rouge?
Joe Harris is 40th.
Wow.
On that list.
Joe Harris is just
63%.
Just an all-around player.
He can go.
Joe Harris can go. You can play.
He can absolutely go, but not quite like Vince Carter could. 21 years ago when, if it's not the most famous dunk contest in history, it's the second. Unless you can have a tie for number one, because it's this and 88, and I think that's it, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. You know what I'm thinking of? I'm thinking about the Zach LaVine, Aaron Gordon one.
That was good too.
Unbelievable, but I don't know if it lives in infamy the way those two that you just mentioned do. Like, it's great. It might technically be the best slam dunk contest we've ever seen on NBA All-Star Weekend, the Zach LaVine, Aaron Gordon one, but it doesn't live in infamy the way 88 and 2000. What is it, 2000? Yeah, 2000. What Vince Carter do.
Yeah, that Vince Carter one was special, but it was, you know what? But with that one, I guess you're right, because with that one, it was like the Vince Carter show.
Mm-hmm.
It was like I don't even know who finished second.
I don't know who finished second, but they had some bad boys in there. Tracy McGrady did some nasty stuff.
Tracy McGrady was in it.
Steve Francis did some nasty stuff in there. And do you remember? Do you remember who followed Vince Carter? Like in the lineup?
No.
Poor Jerry Stackhouse.
Oh, no.
had to go after Vince Carter every single time.
But with you just mentioned LaVine and Gordon, and then 88, we refer to it as 88, but that was Jordan and Neek.
Oh, that one is just, oh my goodness.
Maybe Vince Carter is the best dunk showcase in history and not necessarily the best dunk contest in history. Maybe it's the best performance by a single person in a dunk contest.
Yeah, because what Zach and Aaron Gordon were doing was
the wrong
silly.
Guy probably won.
People say that.
It's close. It's close. You can't even be mad.
Zach LaVine windmill from the free throw
Yeah.
He went windmill from the free throw line.
Yeah.
Oh, woo. Yeah, that was crazy.
The Dwight versus Nate Robinson dunk contest.
That was a good one, but I don't remember anything about it.
There was one, the one where the first time he put the cape on and came out and he didn't dunk it. He threw it. I was at that one.
Yeah.
That's the dunk contest. Yeah. I went to that dunk contest.
Oh, you was in the building?
Yeah, I was there. I was at that All-Star weekend.
That seems electric right there.
Yeah, it was dope. It was the first All-Star game there after Katrina. And so I'll never forget that weekend. It was,
I bet.
it was something. Yeah, it was. I just mean seeing the city. Yeah, I just mean seeing that city. That was something. Like, they took us through neighborhoods, and part of what you do there, if you're with like the NBA Cares group, you go, you do a community project, and one of the community projects, or the community project, was working on this woman's house. It was the sole house that survived this neighborhood from Hurricane Katrina. And we were on the bus going there. The entire experience I'll never forget. And I'll never forget the fatal question I asked. I regret asking it to this day. It's like, what do those signs on the house mean? Well, the person explained it that the number was the number of people that were dead. The logos were whether the bodies were inside or if they were taken out. And then the other logo was if there were any pets inside.
Jeez.
Some of those numbers, bro.
Whew. Yeah.
Never forget it.
That's
never,
crazy.
Ever forget it.
When the levees broke, absolutely phenomenal by Spike Lee.
Yeah.
And this past summer, well, no, not this past summer because that was 2020, but in 19, my family reunion was in New Orleans. That's where a lot of my family's from. And we had the family reunion there, and we went to the 8th Ward, how it is now. And, it's cleaned up, but you get a different vibe when you're over there. And one thing that's amazing is I think it was Brad. Did they say it was Brad Pitt? I know Matthew McConaughey does a lot, but I feel like it might have been Brad Pitt. They built a lot of houses over there, and the houses now are so high. Like the front door is like 2 stories up.
Yeah.
Now, because all that, and it's on these bricks and on these stilts.
That's a wild thing to see also. Like, because if you're not, you're not used to seeing, you don't see anything like that here in California. And you go out there and you're looking at it just looks like a tricked out car, like that went wrong. You know what I mean? Like these houses sitting on these, as you said, these, 7, 8, 9, 10 foot stilts. It is a bizarre thing to see, especially when you're not used to it. And there they have the above ground cemeteries in New Orleans and in those areas. It's New Orleans is a dope place. It's definitely a dope place, and I get the appeal for it. And it's something wild when you learn more about it.
I love New Orleans. I got stuck down there on Frenchman Street eating. You know what I'm saying? I went to
you got
Cafe
stuck. Stuck down there.
I was out, man. I'm not even a big foodie like that, but I see how you can gain some weight being in New Orleans. Boy, the food down there is crazy.
So back in my younger days, I don't remember the name of the restaurant we went. Like I really don't, but we went with a handful of people, and there was this one dish. It was called the fried platter. And I was like, hey, we on vacation. I was still trying to eat and train, and it's like, we on vacation. Like, give me the fried platter. So you would notice, like, the healthier you eat, the more like colorful your plate is, because it's got vegetables, it's got all these different things on it. Like your plate has like some color to it.
Yeah,
bro.
This thing was brown.
It was a big ass plate, and it was all golden brown and shiny with just, every food that you could imagine, deep fried, like stacked up this high.
Wow. They don't play. They don't play out there.
They serve bibs with their food. They was crawfish. You need multiple utensils to dive into all of this stuff. Like, eating in New Orleans isn't like, it's not like dinner time. It's like dinner experience.
Right. No, it really is. And like, to bring it back to basketball, like, it's tongue in cheek, but it's like, is that the best place for Zion? You know what I'm saying? Like, It's just like, man,
we need to get
how?
Yeah,
How you gonna make it?
We need to get Zion to like Phoenix or something with like Life Kitchen or some plant-based food nearby or something like that where they
I was about to say Seattle. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, come on, man. What are you taking a shot at Seattle for?
I'm not ready for them to have a team yet. When they do have a team, Damien, we're gonna have to go.
It's been like 8 years.
That's not long enough. When they do get a team, though, we got to go up there for the first game when Sacramento goes up there. D-Lo and KC will be in the building.
You got us going a lot of places.
Oh, yeah, we're going to be everywhere. They ain't never there.
Vegas, Seattle.
We're going to be in Vegas a lot.
You got us. We always say the truth is we bring our cameras, our little box here. Like, who's going to know where we're? They're not going to know that. We're like, what are you going to say? You're supposed to be doing the show from your house? Like, no, what are you talking about? Like, we're doing the show in Las Vegas.
I could be on Frenchman Street.
I even wonder if, and I'm beginning to wonder if COVID like ever ends. Like, do they like look at us and go, dude, you guys have done a great job from your house. Just keep doing the show from your house. Like, we don't even want to build you a new studio. Just stay there.
I don't want to give them any ideas because I'd love to get in the studio at one point in my life, but I don't know why they wouldn't.
We just sitting here. Don't mind us. We just sitting here rolling along. Marshall Harris said to join us. We even got guests. We've got the Zoom. We've got 4K here for both of us on our.
And we've been going hard all day,
bro. I literally reset everything before the show. So I reset the router. I reset the computer. I reset the screen. I reset everything before the show started in an effort to not be shredded on the chat like I was yesterday.
Yeah, and just Wi-Fi being used everywhere in my house.
Yeah, it just doesn't phase you. Like
no resets at all. Just keep on moving.
Okay. I can't stand you sometimes, man. I can't stand you. And this is only the first of 2 shows we got to do together, man. We're going to be back tonight at 6 o'clock to get you ready for the Sacramento Kings and the Orlando Magic as the Kings look to continue their nice little stretch of basketball here. Obviously, they've played the Orlando Magic during this stretch, and we always say, the last team, whoever lost that game probably has the advantage in the sense they've been looking at a lot of film. They've got some things to correct. I thought the Sacramento Kings game plan against Orlando was fantastic. They attacked. We ran down the players that are out for Orlando earlier in today's show. If you missed it, I mean, the ones that you already know are gone. Obviously, Markelle Fultz is out. Aaron Gordon is out. Jonathan Isaac is out. Michael Carter-Williams is out. Frank Mason will not make an appearance at the Golden One Center tonight. Cole Anthony is questionable. Fournier is questionable. Al-Farouq Amino is questionable. So I don't know who's suiting up for Orlando. Is Penny still under contract? I don't know who's running out there for this team.
Nick Anderson and Dennis Scott coming through that door, man. Yeah, it's. I keep Vucevic.
Got it, nailed it.
There we go. He'll be in the building, so you got to watch out for him.
That's a problem.
And I just keep thinking about that boy Birch. Birch was everywhere in that first game, and I didn't like it. Got to watch out for him. I really feel like if the Kings take care of the defensive boards, everything else will fall into place. Do not give them second chances. Take care of the defensive boards. Might be some Kenny Keys action here on KC right now. But take care of the offensive or take care of the defensive boards, and everything else will fall into place tonight.
Okay. I'm with it. You know what? Another video I saw today, speaking of 21 years ago, or Jason Williams' elbow pass. This is the anniversary of the elbow pass.
That was in Oakland too, right?
Yeah, it's got to be. Yeah, it's got to be. Like, how many people tried that and failed miserably?
I'm one of them. Sure.
Oh man, I tried it that night. It was like, oh, let's go make this happen. I got this.
That was so cool.
And let's make this happen here. Let's bring in our buddy Marshall Harris, CBS 13. Hi, Marshall.
Is Kenny leaving because I showed up? Is that what's going on?
He's out.
That sounds about right. Sometimes you got to make way. You know what I'm saying? Get out the way. Luda taught me that. Move, get out the way.
Rubbing hands like Birdman. You know what it is? I'm wearing off on my man Marshall. I'm wearing off on him, baby. I'm about to shoot him the Young Thug essentials so we can listen.
No. Don't
I'm good, bro. I'm from the South. I don't need all that. I'm good.
He's also grown.
Ain't he? No, is he from Atlanta? I thought he was from Mississippi.
I'm from Huntsville, Alabama, man.
Oh, yeah.
Huntsville, Alabama, the Rocket City. Okay. The home of Space Camp, the hockey capital of the South. Put some respect on Huntsville, Alabama. Okay.
I would have never got that.
I wouldn't have either.
That's why I'm here to educate. Like every week, I educate Kenny. Here we go again.
The hockey capital of the South. How did you get that distinction?
I mean, there's a school, University of Alabama, Huntsville, the only school south of the Mason-Dixon line that has a Division I hockey team. Plus, they have a minor league hockey team as well. Wow. Shout out to the Channel Cats. So the UAH Chargers. That's how we became the hockey capital of the South. They love their hockey in Huntsville, Alabama. The hockey, like minor league hockey, was being played there when they introduced what you probably remember as the D League, the NBA Developmental League, and they started a team. I should have worn my shirt. Huntsville Flight, one of the first year members. They had teams in like Asheville. They had an ESPN2 reality series. You know what people didn't show up for? D League games. You know what they do show up for? Hockey games. Hockey capital of the South.
I would have never thought that. You know, Marshall, I wouldn't say I was that close to going there, but I almost went to Alabama A&M. How far away is that?
Oh, Alabama A&M's in Huntsville, Alabama. It's in a suburban. It's like it's not like Davis far away. It's like it's in Huntsville. It's called Normal, Alabama, but it's in Huntsville. We call it the hill, up on the hill. Alabama A&M, home of the Bulldogs. The other I rooted for two Bulldogs: Mississippi State, Alabama A&M.
Isn't that where what's my man? They used to play with LeBron Williams, the guard. Oh my gosh,
Mo Williams.
Isn't he the head coach there at Alabama A&M right now?
He might be the head coach there now. I know he played at Alabama. I covered him when he was playing high school ball at Jackson, Mississippi. That boy played ball when he was in high school.
You've worked in a lot of places, because you worked in Huntsville, right?
All you're saying right now, Damien, is you're old, Marshall, and that's fine. Because you know what? As my grandmother told me when I was young, I was like, "Wow, you're old." Like we were celebrating her birthday one year. And she said, well, you either get old or you die. What's more appealing to you? And I was like, oh, snap. Let me back up off Granny. Okay. So, yeah, I'm old. I've been around the block. I've been doing this for over 20 years. And, yes, Huntsville, Alabama is one of my stops. Columbus, Mississippi, Huntsville, Alabama, Cincinnati, Ohio, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and now the beautiful city of Sacramento.
The sports director is CBS 13. Yeah. Our man, Marshall Harris.
6.
Yes, sir. What are your expectations for the Kings over the course of the next 3 games?
I mean, they're all 3 at home, right?
All 3 of them.
My philosophy is very simple when it comes to really any professional sport. Win 2/3 of your games at home, win half your games on the road, you're good to go. Last time I checked, that road record is looking nice and spiffy. Home, that's a different story. Now, I know there's no fans in the stands, but they need to win 2 of 3 against the Magic, the Memphis Grizzlies, and the Brooklyn Nets. And I'll let y'all pick the 2 that y'all think are the easiest to get.
Yeah. I hear you.
I said it earlier. I initially said they need to go 2-0 this weekend, but if you throw that Brooklyn Nets game in there, I really don't care how it gets done. But like you said, 2 or 3 would be just fine. Yeah,
and last time we had the same exact conversation, we're like, they need a split. What they end up doing against the Nuggets and the Clippers on back-to-back days.
Yeah, that was wild.
Here first, Marshall guarantees 3-0 because that is what the Kings do. When we predict low, they go high. Marshall is predicted 3-0. Thanks, Marshall. I appreciate it.
I want people to be more optimistic and have higher expectations than maybe what they have for their team, because they're like, oh, here we go again. Like, let's be honest. Let's all 3 of us, we're in the triangle of trust right now as we have this conversation. When they gave up 42 points to the Sixers in the first quarter of that game, tell me you weren't like, here we go again. Tell a lie.
I didn't think they were going to win at that point. I was like, Sixers are another.
You know what? They didn't win. But if I told you they were giving up 42 points in the first quarter, I said, but don't worry, they'll have the lead at halftime and at the end of the third. What would you have said to me?
They probably started scoring. I didn't think they would stop them enough it would be like 79 at the half or something like that. But, to your point, though, I was like, they're not going to stop the Sixers. You know what I'm saying? Like, after giving up 42. So, and they kind of did. They held them to what, 20 in the second quarter or something like that? 21.
I think it was 24 points in the second quarter. Listen, they did enough to be in the game in the fourth quarter. And when you're taking on a team that has you physically outmatched, not only size-wise, but talent and experience wise, that's all you can really ask for your team. And then it's a make or miss league. Correct, Casey? I know you'll back me up on that. They didn't make their open shots. They had shots. They earned the shots that they needed to be able to contend with the Sixers. Joel Embiid is a whole problem that we had already talked about. We already knew. You know, the Sixers go to the line 35 times and make 28 free throws. Like, what are you really gonna do?
That's how
like, y'all, I need Sacramento Kings fans to understand. Rashawn Holmes and Joel Embiid go back in time together.
Mm-hmm.
Joel Embiid been doing that to Rashawn Holmes since they were both in the Sixers practice facility. Mm-hmm. That's not new to him.
Yeah.
And Marshall, you would know about this. Poor Hassan Whiteside, he don't stand a chance against Embiid. I think it's mental at this point. Embiid knows he can dominate Whiteside, and Whiteside knows that he can get dominated by Embiid.
When Hassan Whiteside came into the game, I was sitting next to Kyle Draper, who you guys know hosts the pre and post game shows, calls some of the games for the Kings, and I said, I need you to watch what happens when Hassan Whiteside comes into this game. Watch Embiid things are going to just the whole thing is going to change.
I lit up.
So Embiid was like, hanging out at the free throw line extended, right? Yeah. As soon as Hassan Whiteside checks in the game, that man went down to the block, put a foot down on the block, said, "Hey." Hey,
lit up on Whiteside when it came into the game, man. And it's crazy.
Not like each other. And he remembered what he said about him deserving to be an all-star over Joel Embiid back in the day when he was back with the Heat. Mm-hmm. And he was putting up good numbers with the Heat, but Embiid was better. Embiid's always going to be better than Hassan Whiteside. Not to say Hassan Whiteside is bad. He just doesn't have the skill set that Embiid does at the same size.
Facts. Yeah.
Well, we can all acknowledge that the Kings are playing well, and I think that's a great point that you brought up. They go down, in that first quarter, and they're in it late. They have a lead late in that game, and there was a moment for us, but for me, oh my God, are they going to do this? Like, are they really going to win are they going to beat Philadelphia? Are they going to win their fifth in a row in this fashion? Obviously, that didn't wind up happening, but I'm still of the mindset that the Kings are playing really good ball, which is why I consider this weekend so very, very important from them. How much credit does Luke Walton deserve for this turnaround that the Kings are experiencing right now?
He deserves adequate credit. He deserves credit.
What do you mean adequate?
Adequate in saying you need to acknowledge that Luke Walton has helped this happen.
Okay.
He's put his players in positions to succeed more so than they were doing at the beginning of the season. We're seeing a lot of Luke Walton and the way they're talking about their coach and their coaching staff kind of mirror what was going on out of the All-Star break last year, if you remember that stretch before they went down to the bubble and everything kind of, fell apart. I think, he still has work to do. He has an income. If you told me to grade him, I would give him an incomplete. And so I think he's doing what needs to be done, though. Like, anyone who's complaining about Luke Walton right now is, how do you live with yourself with all that negativity in your life? Like, what are you poking holes through that Luke Walton is doing right now in the last, let's say, 2 weeks?
Yeah, I think Luke is also doing the best he can with what he has as far as the depth of this roster. So he's like, we don't have a lot of depth. I'm playing the 6 best players as much as possible. And that also has a shelf life. Like, you can't do that forever. So I don't know. Somebody's got to develop. Somebody, maybe Daquan Jeffries, when he comes back, is a big key to that. Maybe they go out and get, I don't know. But for them to make a playoff push, they're going to need to get Luke and that roster. Not a whole lot. I'd say maybe one more player.
Like a solid rotation player, though. Somebody who can play at both ends of the court. Preferably someone in the maybe 3 and D mold, unless you want to get somebody who's a shot creator as well. I don't think they need that because they have Halliburton and he's played so well. Corey Joseph, you could upgrade those minutes, those guard minutes. Like, Corey Joseph still can play at a high level on the defensive end. It's just offensively when they struggle to get into sets and really get it done when Halliburton or Fox aren't initiating is my kind of concern. And then, like I said, always a 3 and D guy, somebody who can just defend. And maybe Daquan Jeffries can be that guy. Like you said, maybe they don't have to look far, but I agree with what you're saying in that you can only do this for so long, especially in what's been a compacted season, which will be even more compacted on the back end because, those 2 Memphis Grizzlies games have to be made up. They're not even as affected as poorly as other teams around the league, but those are all things you have to take into factor. Everybody basically plays 4 times a week all season long. That isn't the case in a normal NBA season.
Yeah. I got my eye on Jared Jack, Marshall. Jared Jack has caught my eye in the Gubble the way he's playing with the Ignite. Jared Jack, keep your eye on him.
I've seen Jared Jack play in the G League prior. I mean, obviously we know what he did in the NBA. It's okay. I'm not arguing with that. Like I don't know enough about what he's done this year and how much where he is in relationship to his plateau. I always talk about players in any sport have this plateau they get to where they're in their prime, the prime plateau, and then all of a sudden you take steps down from that plateau. How many steps down from his prime plateau has he taken? Is my
He's
question.
37 coming off. I think the reason why he's in the G League, he had an ACL tear or something like that, or MCL something. Yeah. So
modern medicine is a miraculous thing. I'll say that, man. You could have never told me KD would be playing at the level that he's playing. He has not skipped a beat.
Not at all. He just can't stay away from contact tracing.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that stopped him so far.
Achilles can't stop KD. COVID, no, it's another conversation. What's the biggest change over this stretch of basketball that you've seen from this team? What do you like when you're watching them? Like, what's different?
I think the team has a clear-cut identity, even within themselves, of what they're trying to do, both on the offensive and defensive end. I think that took time because, one, you're inserting a rookie who's playing major minutes, and that just doesn't happen overnight, you know? Tyrese Halliburton's guy is going to play 30-plus minutes, and for him to get to that level where he was playing, you got to remember, back they had him on a minutes restriction in the preseason because they were just trying to, like, you haven't played Summer League. You haven't done the normal things that a rookie does. Like, that's what's so exciting about Tyrese Halliburton and LaMelo Ball and some of these rookies who are really showing out early on in this season. De'Aaron Fox, he's become himself. He's become, he had a good night to this is the standard which we expect from De'Aaron Fox. And maybe some nights he takes it up even another notch. And he hasn't really had a bad night in a while, like a bad night. Mm-hmm. And Buddy Hield is a renaissance man now on the court. He does more than just take shots. And the shots are important. Harrison Barnes is playing the best basketball of his literal career.
Yep.
I know it seems like Harrison Barnes has been in the league for 20 years, but he's under 30. Like he's at the beginning of his prime plateau, in my opinion.
Right.
The number one thing though, Damien, Casey, they've stayed healthy. Look around.
Mm-hmm.
They've stayed healthy, and that's something you cross your fingers and you hope for it. But
I almost didn't want to mention it. I ain't been mentioning it.
I was asked the question, so I got to give like the truth. I'm not going to hide the truth.
But you're 100% right. I mean, I've looked at it. I'm knocking on all this wood that's around me. They haven't dealt with any injuries or COVID situations to this team, the whole year, and hopefully that continues. But that's a big part.
Because Lord knows the depth ain't there to fill in for it.
Oh gosh, no.
No. If one of their starters gets COVID-19, it might be a wrap for a couple of weeks on this team.
Or Tyrese is playing 48 minutes a night, every single night.
Yeah. Luke is turning.
You could laugh all you want to and talk about sustainability, but what Luke Walton's calling timeouts just like he did in the Philadelphia game to give guys rest. It's ultimately what he's going to have to do. Because
I love it. They need to play in the NCAA tournament where they get those long media timeouts.
Yeah, that's it. You look at the bench scoring in the Philadelphia game. None of us look at Tyrese as a bench player. He comes off the bench, but you look at everybody outside of Tyrese Halliburton. It's a disaster.
Yeah, and that's why I agree with Casey's assertion that they need a little bit more help, from whether it's internally, somebody stepping up, or going out and getting a piece that they can help. But I'm interested to see. I don't know exactly when the trade deadline is off the top of my head because everything's so fluid.
March 24th or 5th.
Yeah.
So we literally don't know the handful of games that they'll have played before that. We don't even know who's on the schedule leading up to that. The schedule's almost over for the first half.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? We only got I think less than 10 games left, or around 10 games left before the end of the first half of the schedule. So we don't even know. There's too much uncertainty to make these broad sweeping predictions and predilections and all that. Just go with the flow, man. Enjoy the game sitting in front of you. That's all I can say.
Was that the word of the day? Predilections? That's a good one.
Predilections, not the word of the day. No word of the day today because I'm not in studio. I only do word of the day when I'm in studio.
We need to think of a good word so it'll be like a nod.
You guys can give me a word. I have no problem working in words. People thought I wasn't going to work in words. I was like, this is not hard for me. This is what I do.
The Kings were park percolating tonight against the Orlando.
Oh, that's too easy. No, we need a
Already
multiple.
easy. You think everybody knows what percolating means?
That's too easy. We need a
Time for the
multi.
percolator, I can tell you that.
You've hit some words that I don't. Something like you said a word the other day. I'm not a positive. It's actually a word.
What was I talking about? I'll tell you what the word was.
Oh, I don't remember. I'd have to go back to your Instagram account. I just love. My favorite is the way you frame these videos because it's the smuggest opening shot. Like word of the day is, and it's whatever word, and then it goes to the clip of Marshall saying the word in the middle of his broadcast like it's absolutely nothing, and the shot comes back Marshall with like.
Well, I'll tell you guys this. Next Wednesday, so I do this thing called Word Up Wednesday where I take my word of the day and make it into a bigger thing on Wednesdays, right? Where I take the word itself and I present it to the morning show on Good Day Sacramento. I was like, hey, I want you guys, I'm going to tell you the word, give you the definition, use it in a sentence. Who does the best job? I'll tell you who's the best amongst y'all. And then later on tonight, I'll use it in my 10 p.m. sportscast, right? Yeah. Next Wednesday, I have a 29-letter word I'm going to throw on them. Just for sheer shock value. And the word is let me see if I can remember. It's flaxenos and nihilopilification. Got that?
That's a sentence. That's not even a word.
It's a word.
What's the meaning? What does it mean? Like, how do you use that?
It means to give something to I think it's a noun, and it means like to give something value that doesn't really or to say something doesn't have value that actually has value.
It took you less time to give the definition than it did to say the word.
So people be fluxenothification and Harrison Barnes' trade value.
I'm sorry.
Did I use that right?
It's the action or habit of estimating something as worthless. Got that? So see, like people are always like, man, I can't believe you're doing that. But I'm like, it's not as hard as you guys think for me to like make this stuff happen, you know?
No, I think it's dope.
It is dope.
I love the word thing.
Yeah, it's fun. It's
something that I thought about doing a long time ago. And I wasn't persistent with it the way you are, Marshall, but I love it. I love it. You said something that caught my ear though.
What's that?
That reminds me of Word Up magazine. You guys, I didn't buy Word Up because it was more of a girl magazine.
It was all a dream. Yeah.
Yeah, but I had my girl cousins Word Up magazine, which would go through there. I was a big fan of 702, so 702 would be in there pretty much every episode. Shout out to Irish. Yeah.
Okay, I hear you. I hear you. I'm not trying to go back that far in time, but I hear you. Yeah. I remember the song. I don't think I ever read Word Up magazine.
Kenny just takes us down these for the culture moments every once in a while.
Yeah, it's fine. Yo, let Kenny be. Let Kenny be Kenny.
That's fine. Yeah. We wouldn't be D'Lo and KC if KC didn't take us down those for the culture roads there for a couple of minutes. Marshall Harris, CBS 13, with us here on D'Lo and KC. Let's shift gears here just briefly while we've got a couple of more minutes together. We'll be talking more Kings tonight at 6:00 on Courtside with D'Lo and KC. Deshaun Watson, we saw that J.J. Watt was released today. We saw that the owner of the Houston Texans had no interest in addressing the Deshaun Watson situation, past that Deshaun Watson is our quarterback. He's a Texan, and we expect him to be a Texan. How do you think this, you don't necessarily have to predict the team, though you're more than welcome to. How do you think this story ultimately ends with Deshaun Watson and the Texans?
I think it ends with Deshaun Watson not being in a Texans uniform this upcoming season. Now, I don't know whether or not that's going to be on another team or him just sitting out, but I do believe he would just sit out.
Yeah. I'm leaning heavily towards that too.
He ain't coming back.
I would love to see him play somewhere else, but last time I checked, those Houston owners are hard-headed, regardless of what sport you're talking about. Let's take a quick, look into Houston owners, whether it's the Texans, whether it's the Rockets, certainly whether it's the Astros. Okay?
I don't know what you're doing in Houston, man.
They weren't hard-headed when it came to letting their face of their franchise go. They seemed to do that pretty easily.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. I don't know what the future holds for Deshaun Watson. I just know the future is not in Houston. Somebody said all this departure is because they cheated in the World Series, and this is the karma.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Nobody wants to be there.
They got 2 World Series, right? Or 1? Did
they win one back? Wait,
no, they lost to the.
They only won one, didn't they?
Yeah, I think they've only won one.
Went to 2, but won one.
I was about to say, would it be worth it? If the Kings,
it's always worth to take a title. You get
the finals, and I don't know, they lowered one of the rims on one side. I'd take it. Give it to me.
Yeah.
But I mean, I just don't see Deshaun Watson. It's an untenable situation.
The Deshaun Watson story seems to be bearing a lot of other stories that are kind of out there. I'll bring two to your attention here in the final minutes of the show. One, Russell Wilson seems to be a little perturbed with the Seattle Seahawks. His contract, by the way, for next year just became guaranteed yesterday. Do you think over under for Russell Wilson, 2 seasons, 2 more seasons with the Seattle Seahawks? You go over under.
So you're not putting it like 2.5 or 1.5. You're saying 2. If I take 2,
I'll put it at 1.5.
Then over 1.5. I'll go over
2.5. Do you think Russell Wilson will eventually leave the Seattle Seahawks, or the Seattle Seahawks will eventually leave Russell Wilson?
Yes. Who plays for one team their whole career?
That's true. I mean, I guess if
won the Super Bowl,
Tom Brady's playing for the Bucs, so I guess there's that.
What I'm saying. Joe Montana in a Chiefs uniform, correct?
Yeah.
I only give them one more year, Marshall. I think they play this next year and it's contentious and they don't make the Super Bowl. I actually don't even have them making the playoffs.
KC, they might not play past the first meeting with the Rams at this rate.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, Russell Wilson gets hit a lot. Like at some point. I mean, that's the same problem. I mean, Russell Wilson literally has the same exact problem Deshaun Watson has. He's just like he's getting obliterated because the organization hasn't addressed the offensive line issue. One other quarterback that I think has been buried in all of the Deshaun Watson stuff is Dak Prescott. The Cowboys obviously still have a lot of control in this situation, but correct me if I'm wrong, Marshall. If the Cowboys franchise Dak a second time, that's a huge story that almost assuredly means Dak Prescott is playing for another team the following year.
The old peace sign, like I saw at the Super Bowl. Yeah, what is it? 37 million this time for the franchise.
37. Yep.
Yeah, he gone.
Yeah,
that boy gone.
And you've taken away by not doing the contract last year, in my estimation. If you're the Dallas Cowboys, you lost a lot of your leverage for this year because if Dak takes the franchise tag, he's looking at $72 million over 2 years with another guaranteed payday coming immediately after that, even if it's not from the Dallas Cowboys.
I think Dak has all the leverage right now as we look around and see what these quarterback situations really look like around the league. Yeah, franchise me. I'm cool with it. I'm gone, but yeah, franchise me. And then, some team pays him for a 5-year whatever contract.
Mm-hmm.
So real quick, Marshall, my question is, why not move him now?
That's a legitimate question.
I think it's got to be
maybe because Jerry Jones doesn't want to have that egg on his face of knowing that he screwed up, and it's a lot easier to say, "Oh, he left us," not we were stupid in what we did to leave him not being a part of the Dallas Cowboys.
Actually, it just made me think. I know where Deshaun Watson's going to be. He's going to be in Cabo. He's going to be in Ezekiel Elliott's old room. He's going to be hanging out there doing, drop back drills in the sand until this all gets worked out. I don't know if Americans are allowed in Mexico right now, but if they are, that's where I
go to Mexico.
They can go to Cabo and Tulum. They all go there.
I seen a lot on my IG feed. I see a lot.
Oh, that's right. George Kittle went to Cabo. I forgot.
Like I seen a lot of Cabo and a lot of Tulum, and made me think, when am I leaving town?
For real.
Let me let y'all know I'm leaving town soon. I'm gonna be gone. I'm probably gonna take a good 10 days, 14 days off. I got so much vacation time. Shoot, you can't tell me nothing. I worked through it all. We just got through an NFL season. I worked the whole time.
Well, you're gonna be working in the May this year, Marshall, with the Kings. I'm calling it right now, baby. Come on now.
You call it playoffs or playing?
Well, just for I was gonna say, just for the record. The May is probably regular season, so I just want to throw that out there.
I think May is the beginning of the playoffs, though. The play-in will probably take place in May.
Okay.
Let me ask you a question. How do you feel about that 7, 8, 9, 10 involving the Sacramento Kings and our neighbors in the Bay?
I like it. I like it. That's a good.
You don't really like it. You like the idea. No, you want to get into an actual playoff series.
I'll take it.
I want all the smoke. I want to know.
I'll take it. Marshall will take anything. Give me a break.
Have you seen Steph Curry lately?
Yeah, I've seen Steph Curry. I ain't worried about no Steph Curry.
We gotta go, man. We'll be back. That's a great note to leave on. I ain't worried about no Steph Curry. We're back tonight at 6 for Courtside. We appreciate you so much for being here with us on Sacramento's #1 sports station, ESPN 1320.
Holla.
All right. Appreciate you, man. We're going to finish up on the stream, and I'll check in with you later.
We got our show title.
All right.
Yo,
Thanks,
you said I ain't worried about no Steph Curry.
We got our show title.
Have you paid attention to what that man is literally playing at the exact level he played when he won unanimous MVP.
Nah, he's great, but that's all they got.
It's all they got right now. But what if James Wiseman develops? What if Draymond Green gets in? I mean, he looks like he's in better shape than he was just 2 weeks ago. He's got 5 straight 10-assist games.
But is that his problem, Shane?
One person.
Yeah, that's definitely his problem.
One person I'm not worried about.
Dude had his second dunk of the year like a week ago, and he's been dunking ever since. Like he literally couldn't get up and down and do all the stuff he needs to be able to do. He couldn't finish layups because he like when you ain't played basketball in a long, long time, and you go up for a layup and you think like you're gonna be where you are, and instead you're like a foot short. That's how he's playing right now, or that's how he was playing until the last week or so.
Hey, all the Kings, if the Kings play the Warriors in a playing game, all they got to do is keep it tight with 9 seconds left. Throw that.
That fallacy has been disproven in the time since that fallacy.
Throw that thing off the backboard from half court. That's all that we say. Just keep it close.
Danny in San Francisco is hearing this exchange regarding Draymond Green. I swear we spend more time in the morning talking about Draymond Green and the Golden State Warriors than we do anything else. But that clip is gonna make its way up to our friends in San Francisco for sure.
Wait, which part? What did we say something slanderous?
No, Kenny. I ain't worried about no Steph Curry.
Just
lead him again.
Yeah, I can't imagine that biting us in the ass at all.
Kenny, look, you hope that they don't play the Warriors. Let's say this: if the Kings don't finish in the top 6, who are your ideal teams that you would like to see them have to beat? And remember, if they finish 9 or 10, they got to win that game, and then they got to beat the loser of the 7-8 game. Mm-hmm. Who would be the most ideal teams, and who are the teams you just don't want to see?
I don't care. The Warriors will be
matter. I mean, they're all.
Okay. The Warriors will probably be like number 1 on that list, just because the Warriors have just dominated the Kings for the last 7 years. So it's hard to fathom.
You kind of want the Warriors to be in the 7-8 game, them to win their game, and then you play whoever lost to them to get in.
But wouldn't the bigger concern be who you play in the round after? Because I don't want the Kings to play the Lakers.
Why not?
Because I just don't want to deal with that again. Because the Kings aren't going to beat the Lakers.
It wouldn't be the Lakers. It would be the Jazz. The Jazz are probably going to finish with a better record than the Lakers. They're just clicking and rolling.
Maybe. I mean, maybe they are playing well right now. They've won like 16 of.
Somebody didn't have them in their power ranking.
Couldn't be me.
Did you guys notice that the Jazz have won like 19 of 20, and they're like a game and a half ahead of the Lakers?
Because they started slow, Kenny. That's how it be.
And they can't get more than 2 games ahead of the Lakers.
Okay, Kenny.
19 of 20. They're 19-1 in their last 20 and can't get more than 2 games ahead of the Lakers.
Did you know that before the Sacramento Kings won 7 of their last 9, they had lost 9 of 11? That's why they have a 12-12 record.
I'm just saying.
What do you do that for? Why?
I just, you know what? I want y'all to have a wonderful day. Are y'all doing your courtside show tonight?
Yeah, man, we're on at 6 o'clock.
I'll
coming back for Kings fans.
I want y'all to be more. I want y'all and Damien. I'm not coming at you right now.
I know.
I want you to be more rooted in reality than you are. If we did a show and we did a segment with just me, I would call it Rooted in Reality, where I just take the and try to set it back up right.
Well, look,
like if you don't plant a tree correctly, the little young sapling will grow crooked. Right now, there's a lot of crooked things coming out of Kenny's yard.
And why would I be worried about the Warriors? Steph Curry's great, but what? I'm worried about Juan Toscano.
Anderson.
I'm sorry, that's Steph's teammate.
Yeah, Steph. I'm worried about Steph's teammate.
And these guys play hard. They do good stuff out on the floor. But I mean, what Steph would be terrifying. That's about it.
Okay. All right. On that note, I'm gonna let y'all do your thing and have a great and wonderful Friday.
We appreciate you, brother.
I'm gonna go down to the Golden One Center and check out some live basketball because my media privileges allow me to. I am privileged in that I am a member of the media and I get to do such things. And I'll check back in with y'all on Friday and see where we're at. Okay.
We appreciate you, fam. Thanks as always.
All right. Bye, guys.
All right, brother. Marshall sometimes sounds like he's just exhausted with us. You know how Deuce and Mo, we get on these post-show chats, and Deuce and Mo are always like, man, that was fast. Like, yeah, that's the fastest, 30 minutes ever. And Marshall's like, man, it's like Marshall's Jimmy Butler at the end of every segment.
Marshall over there on the scorer's table, just like,
Oh, man. Today was fun, as always. We appreciate everybody on the stream. Go check out the Harrison Barnes conversation right now. Oh, there we go. Okay, let's sell it. Rooted in Reality. Brought to you by...
baby.
What do we got? Rooted in Reality, brought to you by... We'll get it done. Let's get it done.
Reality. Will be a good...
Get Marshall a nice little talent fee.
By Scott's Lawn Care.
Rooted. Okay, I hear you. Yep, got it. Works. We get that done. Marshall needs to do. That's legit. I think Marshall needs a drink when he's done with us. You got to work tonight, though. You got to work.
All right, partner. Well, we gonna be back.
We're back at it, man. Go check out the Bill Black podcast. Listen to the rest of the Harrison Barnes conversation. We'll be back here on the stream and on the radio at 6 o'clock, man. We love y'all. We appreciate what's that word? Appreciate. We appreciate y'all. Hit the thumbs up, especially on YouTube. Hit the thumbs up, man, and we'll see y'all at 6 o'clock.
Holla.